Okay, we're gonna fix something real fast so it doesn't turn into a bad habit.
Shoulder heavy there.
No, it's not even shoulder heavy. It's a foot thing. So when you throw that first flat snap, I want you to not take what you think is actually a 45. This second flat snap when it loads, or that second shot, it's actually about 35 degrees off, because what ends up happening if you take a full 45, look how much shorter I am, because they're likely to plant and try to chase you with their body. So if you start here, I mean, and this Pell is actually a really good example. I'm actually gonna take this step, so I'm actually almost coming out laterally to that. Again, we're gonna face the threat and everything else like that. So when that flat snap comes in, I'm still in the sweet spot and I'm not shortening up to my opponent. So I'm always
something I gotta break myself, because I like to, as soon as contact happens, I'm gonna get in there and control it. And then here's where I want to muscle. And
wrestling.
Yeah.
We're not here to suppress. We're not here to defensively fight. We're here to offensively lay them the fuck low. Elegant brutality is what we're here for. So here, I'm going to show you guys this terrible thing. So this mechanic works.
Short stick. Yeah.
You just keep this elbow in.
It's gross. I like it.
Same throw.
Same throw. Just get close to the Pell, and it's right here. So you basically
throwing here.
I'm just going to throw across. I'm just step in just a little bit more. You're going to short stick the fuck out of that. See, that was still in the sweet spot. Think about short stick.
Oh yeah, it's gross. It's gross.
But also, by the way, did you just see that even with this mechanic, you still threw and hit the sweet spot even right here by just relaxing, keeping that elbow in. You still got to that flat snap, which means now you can recover to anything.
Almost already at the 90.
Yeah, so now you can just move to the next thing.
Toe and take anything on the other side. Throwing the elbow. Well, that's more of a Molinet because I went too up. But yeah. So short stick. Yeah.
You're still hitting mid stick. Like think about basket hilt right on the edge. Yeah.
Punch. Punch with your elbow. Yeah.
See, it's even get it even shorter. So even if you're in here, so you know that shield bind where you get right here, all you do is tuck this elbow into your body, even here. So I'm caught that stick, or here, and I am literally, notice how close I am. I'm hitting in the green. Why is this thing taped this way? So that short stick is just to a flat step. Same mechanic. One's just extended, one's short.
Thank you all for showing up. This is a Friday party unlike we've ever seen before. We are incredibly blessed to have it.
You're the one that caused all of this, just so you know.
So we'll go over just a few. All right. Then without further ado, this amazing creature.
This is the best description of me.
A laurel, Princess by her own hand, a knight, and a very, very treasured friend. All right.
Thank you so much.
The floor is yours.
Oh, God. All right. So I want to say thank you guys all very, very much for showing up. There's many faces that I know here because I've gotten to travel. I'm very excited. I'm hugging all of you today so many times. You guys are giving me the gift of your time, which means one of the big things that we're going to talk about right out the gate is I love questions. If you don't understand something that I'm going over, ask me a question. I guarantee you're not the only one here that has that question. And if you are bold enough to ask it, it's probably going to answer it for somebody else that's shy. So please feel free, ask questions. You don't understand a concept, let's pause and go over it. This whole thing is basically you can't shut me up. I will go over all of this multiple times. The goal here is to give you guys usable information at the end of the day that you can then go play around with and enough understanding that you can share it with people outside of this building. Because if something works for you, it's probably going to work for a friend that couldn't be here today. And I want you to be able to go and articulate that. So ask away. The other thing is I will ask you guys questions. I'm going to ask you to articulate stuff back. The best way to teach and learn is also to repeat it back and go over it. The big thing for me is there is no wrong answer. Whatever answer you give me is giving me understanding about where you're at any given time in class or in your fighting or anything else like that. And that's going to allow me to adjust how I'm speaking with you, how I'm speaking with other students here, and it'll give me a better way to get knowledge back and forth between all of us. If you do not want me to randomly call on you, you are welcome to be like, nope, I'm going to respect that. I'm not here to make anybody feel uncomfortable and feel like they're on the spot. I will encourage it. It's not mandatory. Other thing, does anybody have a problem with me putting my hands on you today to make physical corrections? Nope. Cool. If that changes at any point in time, you are welcome to tell me, not in a place to be touched. Consent is revocable at any point in time. I'm here to respect you, and I'm here to respect your learning process. So please feel free to be like, nope, not yet. And also, your brain might be full, which means you don't want to be touched at that moment in time. I'm also not going to be offended if your brain is full and you need to walk outside and take a minute, or anything else like that. You leaving class to go walk around and kind of process something, never going to be offended. Do the thing. Again, I'm here for you guys. You are not here to entertain me. Though I might be a little entertaining. I cuss. I have some really weird sayings. They're all going to come out. There's a Raya bingo card. The center square is relax your butthole, just so you know. We'll be going over that here in a little bit. And so, be warned, offensive language. Like, what is it, mature content? Warning. Also, I tend to be a little sassy. While we're talking, I will ask you why are you fighting like a cooked shrimp? Like, why are we fighting like this? If my sass becomes offensive to you at all, please feel free to tell me. Again, I'm not here to hurt feelings. I just have some really weird sayings, but I also want you to feel respected in this process and safe enough to play. Any questions, comments, or concerns so far? You guys are all very quiet. So the other thing that we're going to go over on this is, so the human brain is fascinating and neuroscience is fun and my fucking geek. If you walk away with 15% of what we go over today, you're fucking winning, by the way. We are going to be in info dump territory all day long. Please feel free to, after class, come up and be like, I have a question about something you went over, because I can't remember what we did. That's fine. We're in info dump territory. 15% is a solid number to walk away with today. So also in that, I'm going to build in breaks for questions. The human brain works in about 15-minute chunks, and that's where it memorizes the most data, and then you need to get up and move around. And I'm going to tell you guys, get up, move around. We're going to go play with this concept. We're going to change the environment so your brain is constantly in learning mode. Oh, so the question was, so we were talking earlier about like why I'm nervous teaching sometimes. I grew up in the SCA. I've been in the SCA since I was 16 years old, and I've been very, very spoiled with the instructors that I have gotten to work with. I've also been ruined by some of those instructors, because one of the things that happens is somebody grabs a hold of an idea in the SCA and it turns into the one true way. I refuse to be that. Like, I really want like everybody to continue learning. I'm going to walk away from somebody is going to say something in this class that I'm like, fuck, I hadn't thought about that. And then I'm going to go home and grind on that and figure out how I can incorporate it into the thing. And so the first thing we're going to go over before questions is there are multiple ways to generate a telling blow in this society. Absolutely. The twisting body mechanic, which I fundamentally hate, is still a valid way to throw. We can still produce a telling blow from that. The biggest person here can absolutely use their arm and get a telling blow to go off. These are still valid ways. They are producing wins in our group. Some of them are harder on our bodies than others. And some forms work better for different bodies. Today, we're going to be focusing on frame weight transfer and like driving through the body versus a twisting mechanic. But I also want to know that twisting mechanic is still valid. It has made the SCA what it is today. And so that's there. Not going to talk you out of using it. I may raise an eyebrow, but I won't talk you out of using it.
Swapping from lightest touch fencing to heavy calibration.
Okay, so like we're working on getting you from a very long, very static stance, yeah, boop, to like let's deliver a telling blow.
Range and power transfer.
Sweet.
Coming back from an injury, so just good body mechanics.
Okay, cool.
Just new stuff. That's going to improve my grade. Okay.
Sweet. I love that answer.
Not hurting myself, every time I throw it offside.
I like you threw that mechanic and I was like, ha!
I do not know how to use a shield.
Oh, okay,
so
cool.
I'm worried about hurting myself using it, and I'm not very good at swords either, so I'm like starting from bare minimum.
Oh, sweet. Okay, we can actually, so it'll probably be the end of the day that we'll start talking about like shield mechanic stuff, because we're gonna go over like frame weight transfer and like a telling blow. Just remind me probably about an hour to 45 minutes before class ends, be like, hey, you said we talk about shield shit.
Yeah.
And I will happily adjust for that.
I understand how to teach someone who's my body frame
Okay.
how to fight. I want to learn how to help people who are not 6 foot, 200 pound gorillas.
Cool.
How to fight.
So 1, 2, 3.
How to not expend too much energy.
Sweet. This is all falling in the same category. This is awesome.
I can land a solid leg shot when I'm still, but if I'm moving, it's just dust. Like
Okay. So we're definitely going to be going over a lot of that today.
To become a better teacher.
Okay, I love these.
And Trent. Methods of instruction.
Sweet.
Maintaining offensive power while moving defensively.
Sweet. Well fucking said. Okay, so with that, this is actually, so we're staying right in my normal wheelhouse on this one. Again, remind me on the shield stuff, because when we'll shift like focus on that to play around with that today. Because the first chunk of this is gonna be a lot of frame weight transfer, and we're gonna be talking about like how to move your body and maintain the fight. For those that are here for instruction stuff, you are probably going to be the first people drafted into, like, once I start going over something, I'm going to spend time with you making corrections on other people and reverbalizing it quicker. Because then you're going to get that bit of like, cool, how do we say this? How do we recognize this in this body? So a couple things we're going to cover today is perspective in the fight. Us instructors, we tend to teach at our fight. We live in this body, right? And a lot of us have this connection with our body where we assume that everybody else standing next to us is the same height. My knight is 6'7", and until I'm standing next to him and he can put his arm on top of me, I'm his same height, right? Like my brain is like, but I am one of these giants, and then I see a photo of that, and I'm like, I am a hobbit. And so this is where we're gonna actually actively work on our brain understanding perspective shift and like frame shift of like, you don't have 200 pounds, which means we really need to figure that one out. The other things we're gonna be talking about is a lot of frame weight transfer. We're gonna spend most of the day on frame weight transfer and power generation in an alternative way than that twisting mechanic. Because again, twisting mechanic is valid, but we can make it cleaner. And then we're gonna work on a lot of, you're gonna hear me preach. The elbow has to lead the hand, and this is actually one of the first things we're going to go over. It's the reason why there's 5-pound weights here. And I'm going to teach everybody how to do this without a 5-pound weight, but I'm going to show you guys an exercise that you can do at practice to increase shoulder strength. Oh, that was the thing that I actually forgot. Hang on. I am not a physio. I am not a sports physio. I am not a medical professional. I have torn apart my body enough, though, that I have a huge bank of knowledge, and I'm very, very spoiled by having 2 incredibly good physios in my life that were like, we're just going to teach you whatever. And so we're going to talk a lot about physicality, and we're going to talk a lot about joint stability today. And we're going to talk a lot, like I am going to physically correct your body to put you in a good stack and to make sure that you are aligning your body and not tearing it apart.
You have one over there.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, but just so you got a reference. I'm a physical therapist.
Oh, fuck yes. We are going to geek the goddamn hell out. Yeah, and so that is one of the things that I want to make sure that all of you guys understand. I'm not a medical professional, and I will absolutely occasionally look at somebody and be like, you need to go to PT. I am not fixing that.
I am, but I'm not licensed in this state.
I'm going to be like, something weird in class is going to happen. I'm going to be like, go talk to him. All right, so we're going to go over a couple general things real quick of like what some of the differences are in how I generate power. And we have a bunch of pels here. We're going to be hitting these a lot today. We're also going to be talking about facing the threat. You're going to hear these concepts. We're going to go over some concepts real quick. Facing the threat. You're going to hear me say this multiple times. Can I have somebody stand? Go up. Aha, beat you to it. I am not trying to control her in the fight. Oh, you're going to need a stick in your hand. I'm not trying to control her in the fight. Go on guard. I'm trying to control this. This is the thing that's going to kill me in the fight. So I'm going to be facing this. Oh, keep it. Sorry, I'm just talking with it in your hand. So you're going to hear me say face the threat. And this is one of the fundamental flaws we have in training is we walk straight up to the Pell like this instead of actually facing the edge of the Pell, which represents the threat. So we learn to throw to, not through, because our body has to twist. This probably led to that twist mechanic that we see a lot of the time is because people were squared off to each other. No matter where your feet are or anything else like that, they were squared off, and so they learned to twist their body through like you're slapping them instead of just moving your hips to the point of power. I want my shot to go through, which means I'm going to put my hip where I want my hand to end, because this is naturally where it wants to go, right? I'm in a straight line. So you're going to hear me say, that's concept one, face the threat. I will make that correction constantly. It's also the reason why there's sticky lines on the ground. We are all going to be doing this with each other here in a little bit so we can see this, because this is a visual that you have to like grind on and train. Can you just hold your hand up like this for a second? And stick your... I would also like to note, this stick is what's going to kill you, but the threat actually lives like right about here. There's math and physics, stuff like that. It actually lives right about above the elbow, and if you can control this spot in that fight, you're going to suppress all of this. So I am facing this shoulder, right about the midline between the shoulder and the elbow, that's where I'm going to put my center line. You're good, you can relax. Thank you. Second one, we're going to hear about the 90-degree rule a lot. The 90-degree rule is your elbow being at 90 degrees. Besides you, does anybody know why I'm going to harp on this real hard? Because this is actually the strongest position our elbow is in. This is where our body is built to keep our elbow. As our hand extends past that elbow, so as we break 90, we are now extending this joint, right? So anytime I want to change direction, if my elbow is out here, I am putting more and more force and using my forearm more and more to directionally change my hand. Once I come back to 90, I can actually use the rest of my body. So if your arm breaks 90, you have actually just kind of like disconnected it off your arm. It's going to do what it's going to do. I would like to note, a bunch of us are strong enough to change a shot out here. But do you want to know why tennis elbow is one of the most common issues in our society?
Because it strains the tendons that line along the elbow.
Yep. So you're going to get, every time you recover a shot to change direction, you're going to hear me say, get that elbow back to 90. Get that elbow back to 90. Because this way you preserve the joint for longer. We have less wear and tear. This should not be the high mileage part of your body. It is like the dumbest joint we have, actually. The shoulder, second. Knee. So this is, you're going to hear me back to 90, back to 90, back to 90. And you are not, for the most part, most people don't realize that they reach their hand out because they're in a defensive mindset. So they try to put their hands out and they try to suppress what's going on in the fight. Guess what? This is not fighting. This is surviving. The other thing you're going to hear me say all the time is your shoulder blades in your pockets without flaring your rib cage. So draw your core up and in, and it's going to settle your rib cage down on top, and then it's in your pockets. And that's actually going to allow you to move everything. This shoulder blade back in the pocket is what you're going to hear me. Shoulder in the pocket, shoulder in the pocket. A lot of us have been taught that posture is pinch the grate between your shoulder blades. Terrible posture. Flares the rib cage. A lot of us then bell that rib cage out. So I want you to put your arms out straight. Everybody's going to do this right now. Arms out straight. And then I want you to think about pushing your shoulder blades down in your pockets. And then you're going to relax your arms. This is actually a much stronger shoulder position and where many of us should fight because it's actually going to correct a lot. It actually saves that joint a lot of work. The more either wearing it like earrings, you're trying to wear them like earrings. Yeah, no, I watch you just go, hit! So Wearing them like earrings isn't good. It's actually going to push that shoulder capsule forward while we fight, and then we hang on our body and we fight like a little cooked shrimp. Bad idea. And so you're going to hear me say, I'll walk over and be like, shoulder in the pocket, and I will put my hand down your back, because my entire goal is to get your body to put that shoulder blade back and along your rib cage so it can float along your rib cage so you can actually access all the muscle down your spine and your lat. Without that, if your shoulders are up here, you're just fighting from your arms. If your shoulders are collapsed forward, you're just fighting from your pecs. And guess what? The pec is also one of the stupidest muscles in the human body, because originally we ran on all fours and this muscle did things. This muscle does this and this. It does not do this. So fighting from your pec will pull this entire shoulder capsule forward, and I just totally beat the hell out of the mic there, sorry. It's going to pull that whole shoulder capsule forward and get you to fall forward in the fight. So shoulders in your pockets. 90-degree rule and face the threat. Those are the three concepts I'm going to go over and over again. Fourth one, and so everybody gets to touch their abs now, is the difference between bracing your muscles and tension in your muscles. Many of us, especially with a twisting mechanic, have been taught to brace our muscles. And so if you just relax your abs real quick, and you're going to put on either side of your abs, when we brace our muscles, it bows out, because we are bracing for impact. So our body is literally making a little thing to catch impact. It is bowing those muscles out. It also, like flex like you're about to pick something up really heavy and feel that, your fingers should kind of raise up, right? Tension is making those muscle fibers long and supportive. So what you're going to do is I want you to think about, you've got a little string in your belly button, and you're going to pull it basically from the back of your shoulder blades up. And it should make those abs long and lean. It should almost lift that rib cage up. This is key and core to this mechanic, by the way. You cannot do frame weight transfer well. Actually, everybody that's about 200 pounds can do frame weight transfer with braced abs. Don't do it. So this is actually key to being able to take a full breath. You should have your muscles in tension, and you should be able to breathe, right? So pull that belly button up and in, and breathe all the way through your core. Anybody struggling with that? A little bit? It's a learned thing. A lot of us brace right here, especially fighting. So here's the fun thing. Brace your abs. Now try to take a full breath. I watch a bunch of people be like, I can't fucking do that. So amusingly enough, you know how to breathe up, which is really fun. Try to expand out here with your braced abs. You can't expand the bottom of your rib cage at all. Fun thing, the brain is in fight or flight if you can only use the top 2/3 of your lungs. So if you are bracing and fighting, you are automatically putting your brain in fight or flight while you fight. You are not going to memorize data. You're not going to have, you're not in play mode. You're not picking up multiple sets of data. You are literally picking up how to survive the fight. That's it. You are always in a defensive mindset. Learning how to breathe and keep your abs engaged is actually key to learning. And if you're in a situation where you realize that you're bracing a lot, especially at practice, bracing a lot and you're going in and everything else like that, and you're like, and you're struggling at practice and you're having a plateau, reduce what the threat is in it. Change out to whiffles. Change out to padded swords. Do something so you can practice the same motion and relearn how to breathe in your armor. You're going to learn faster. You will take on so much more data being able to take a full breath than breathing from the top of your lungs. Also, most of us don't know how to breathe anyways. Please ask the physio. 90% of us don't know how to fucking walk, and nobody knows how to breathe. So, playful mindset, right? So there's a difference between fight or flight and play. So we learn in play. We learn both positive and negative things in play, and we don't attach an emotion to it. When we are playing, we are literally just collecting data. We're trying. We're allowed to fail. We're allowed to succeed. We're allowed to do these things. We are allowed. When we are in fight or flight, it's shoulda, coulda, woulda. I should have taken this shot. I should have taken this step. I should have done that. In play, it's, can I? Well, what if I try this? And so now we're actually gathering data, and the brain is allowed to play with it. And so it gets to put it in all these other data sets and everything else like that. This is key to us learning faster. This, again, is something that I'm going to like kind of harp on the SCA a little bit about. The SCA forgot how to train at some point in everything we did, and or never learned how to do it. Is we go out and we hit each other with something that hurts all the time. And unless you're a solid masochist, which everybody has a little bit of masochist if you do this sport. Unless you're a real solid masochist, you aren't having fun getting hit. You are memorizing how to not get hit, which means you're not thinking about, how do I control the fight? How do I try this new shot? How do I do that? And so in practice, we have forgotten how to produce play. And we produce play by reducing the cost. That's the reason why there's a pile of wiffle ball bats over here. And I think I own 20 of these things at home. And so our first section of practice, every time, we get suited up and we run around and do all those things, and all of us pick up wiffle ball bats that have our edges taped on them, and we go through new concepts with the wiffle ball bats. Because you get hit with a wiffle ball bat in your armor, and you're like, huh, how interesting was that? You get hit with a wiffle ball bat outside of armor, always put your helmet on. Gonna preach this real quick. Nobody lose an eye here. Put your helmet on. Your helmet, your sword, and a wiffle ball bat, you can go out and do 3/4 speed just fine and play for hours with, you walk in and you kind of look like a little bit of a zebra, but it goes away really fast because it's just a sting. But I now got to do 45 minutes and literally hundreds of passes of data for no physical damage. I can sit down the next day, I can do all the other things. All of our new guys start with a wiffle with me, and even when they start going to rattan and trying to stripe my happy ass, I still have a wiffle because they feel safer trying new things. So we're introducing the next thing. They're continuously playing. We also introduce in a lot of our practices, when somebody figures out they're in fight or flight, so they're like bearing down into it, we will ask them, is this where you want to fight in today? Is this a mindset you want to fight in today? And they can answer yes or no. And if they say yes, cool, great. It's on like Donkey Kong. But if they say no, we actually disengage and we see what they need to reduce. Do we need to go slower? Do we need to pick up whiffles? Do we need to do something else? Do you need to pop your helmet for a minute? What wound you up? So you're not here in training anymore. We've gotten out of a training mindset, and now we're in a survival mindset. And so we just have learned all to ask each other, including all the nights at practice, because guess what? This little thing will get wound the fuck up occasionally. And the guys will walk over and be like, hey, little buddy, we fighting Crown right now? You're gonna fight like shit like that in Crown too. Okay, no, yes, no? And I'll be like, off and away I go, calm down, come back. And so start asking each other. This is also the other thing with play. Play is initiated with questions. When we start the question and answer, we get that neurological response of all of a sudden they have to be present. You're starting to look at things. Also, by the way, if you have somebody that's super wound in armor, super wound up, all of us have been there. We all have a friend that does it occasionally. Ask them to name a color randomly. When you're out there doing slow work and fighting and everything, give me a color, give me this. What's your favorite rock? What's this? Because what it does is it gets their brain to start getting down into all the knowledge base. And so it actually disengages people from panic attacks. It disengages them from survival mode and everything else like that. And it puts them back in their body and makes them present. And you can do it with simple questions. You can do it with colors, favorite rubber duck. Swear to God, you ask somebody their favorite rubber duck, they will be like, what the fuck are you doing? And then, but all of a sudden now they're there and they're present and their brain is stopped being in the little lizard brain that's like, fuck, I gotta figure this out. I gotta survive this. Favorite rubber duck, what? And then now we're playing again. Remember, play is key to getting better at this sport. Learn how to play. This is aggressive Mario Kart with sticks. That's all it is. How many lives do we get? Nobody's life is on the line. It's aggressive Mario Kart. We get to redo this as many times as we want. And if you feel that you have to win practice, maybe check the ego. Okay? And that's the thing. Anytime you're worried about winning, you're not in a play mindset. Just go put a rubber duck in your damn armor bag if you need to remind yourself to go play. but play is going to make you so much better because you're willing to try. We're going to do the quick one, and then we're going to do body mechanics because this is going to involve everybody getting hands-on. So there are X's on the ground here. So everybody, there's 6 of them. If everybody can kind of like line up on them and even yourselves out real quick. So I want 2 lines on either side of these. Cool. Okay, sweet. If the lines are uneven, by the way, as you come up, because we're going to pass through this pretty quick. So this is my favorite one. This is also assuming everybody is right-handed, by the way, because I'm an asshole. Do we have any lefties here? Sweet. You and I are going to do this on a separate set of lines. All right, all lefties on 1. Just for a minute, because this is the concept versus actual, like, so get all the lefties over on one side. Hang on. Boop, boop, boop. Ah, there it is. Okay.
4, 5.
Sweet. There's so many hate-filled creatures here. Put your foot on that, please.
Almost like you're popular or something.
I don't know what the fuck is going on here with how many people showed up. Foot, please. Okay, cool. I've made the lefty zone. Sorry about that. I should have made that just right out the gate. Okay, so this, what was that?
A big L.
Being sarcastic.
Sarcasm's king. Okay, so I'm going to walk through these lines, by the way, and help everybody, because this is pretty big. Only a couple of us have gone through this. So this is representing the square line on a fight, right? This is how a lot of people step up. This is also roughly the depth of C range for most of us. This is like the average C range. I am facing you dead on, right? Hold up your sword hand. So dead on. Now stay on that center one because I want everybody to see this real quick. So I'm now facing the threat for free by literally going from square and moving myself the whole of 8 inches. And now I'm actually facing that. And notice there's no huge body turn. There's nothing else. All I'm doing is centering my hips. One hip, roughly center of his body. Other hip right outside that line. And can you see the difference in the threat here? And if you match that, we go back to 0. So if you take that step over, we're now back at 0. So this is that whole like ducal like reset thing that you see in finals where they like 1 step, no. 1 step, no. And so my entire goal is to get somebody to settle right here and to give me this line. I need my stick real quick so I can show you why too. So if we are square and I throw a flat snap, right? I have no depth decision and change. Also, I now have to cross my body to actually go through him. If I face the threat on this, I no longer have to cross my body to go through him. Also, I've gained a bunch of depth on the side here. And now, also, here's the fun part. Here, we're even. If he throws that flat snap at me, right? We're even, right? Leave your stick right there. We're no longer even. I have actually gained range. And because he's still square to me, he's thrown right in the middle of my shield. So what you guys are going to do is go back and forth. And so in this side, you are starting to shift facing the threat. This side, you are goldfishing for a minute and standing square to your opponent. Throw slow. Nobody take each other's heads off. Don't hit the person behind you. And I want you to just see the difference of you're going to start square. You're going to throw your flat snap. And then you're going to go face the threat. And then you're going to throw your flat snap. Once you've done those 2 things, it switches to this side. You're going to goldfish. They get to do that, and we're going to rotate through this. And I'm going to walk this line and try to help anybody that's got questions, okay? Sweet. So it's same concept for lefties. So we're just going to work on this like everybody fights lefty for a minute. This concept also works if you're facing a righty or righty's facing you. They just face the threat. And then instead of like people how they over crank but they leave their hips in the wrong direction, what you do is you just face a threat and it puts you there. I'm starting you guys on this one though, so you guys can just see the basic concept. Okay?
You missed the instruction, my friend. It
What?
was do it wrong first, then do it right.
Yeah. Yeah, do it wrong first, then right. So, and just go ahead and make the step. So what you're going to do is you're going to make the step first. So correct your feet, look at the line, then throw. Yeah, don't step and go, just throw, because all you're doing is trying to see the change.
Yeah.
Okay? Widen your feet. There you go. Cool. And get over the center of this. So your job is to be over the center of this line.
And then I come here.
Yep. And then you throw it. But see how much you can actually see, like this changes this depth. Also, you're really short, so this is a little deep for you, but you're like my height, so you gotta fight a little closer. But see how this now becomes a valid target, and if he throws a flat snap back at you, he does not have the same depth at all.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So now you get to goldfish for him.
Goldfish.
You have to step the other side. It does inversely affect the offside. So no, you goldfish for him now.
Does this mean?
So you stand over the center of this, like this, and so he can. Yeah. So and then do it square. So like and see and throw that flat snap and see the difference. See?
See, look, I'm not even at your hand.
Yeah.
Now it's at the face. And it's literally that little shift changes all of this.
May I step into it?
Yeah, so right now it's just so you can see the depth, but yeah, I step into it all the time. We're going to be going over how you can build this up. This is just the visual.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see how much like more depth that you can get just from that little shift.
That angle that you're talking about.
So from here, and then just take that step. Yeah, so you got that. So the thing is, kick this hip a little bit. So you want this hip to control center line. This hip is on the outside.
So
yeah, there you go. Just
so
a little
like
bit.
Throwing or
no, just naturally. Like you can just set there because now you have extra.
So I'm settling with my
Yep.
right hand forward.
Yep, just a little bit.
All right, great. So.
So, and you guys can also scoot forward on stuff to get closer. Yeah, you're fine. Everybody, you can also scoot a little closer to your opponents. Like everybody on this side is closer than you guys. Like it's okay. Stand over the line. There you go. Yeah, there you go. So there. But see how you can actually get so much further. Yeah. Any questions that have come out of this before we move on to the next thing? Nope.
I do have a question.
Yes.
So when I am fighting somebody significantly taller than me, how does that change?
It fucking saves your ass is what it does. Edward, can I have you real quick? Captain significantly taller than me, you're gonna need a stick. Yep. Please. So Edward is significantly taller than me, correct? So if I... Would you like a box? Yeah. So Edward is significantly taller than me. He's also faster than me. He's got a better reach, right? So if I'm square onto him with my shield, this flat snap is free. Because there's a downward angle, right? We're actually going to go over a height difference thing here later too. So this downward angle is free, and it's a big window. It's basically from like the middle of my face over that's free. By turning to face a threat, what I've actually done is closed this window. That angle still exists, but I've actually turned it away from him, so now he either has to reach to work to get to that angle, or he has to take a step. So all I'm doing is I'm trying to make his window of opportunity smaller, and by facing the threat, I've naturally taken it away. I have created an offensive opportunity, or a defensive opportunity for me. Also, because he is so much fucking taller than me, if I'm square onto him, right, and I throw, right into his fucking shield, right? And I've got like lift and reach and like get tall and jump or do something stupid, right? If I am facing the threat here, I actually have the opportunity to get around this edge much quicker. Now mind you, he's really good, he's gonna move and everything else like that, but that line now exists that didn't exist for me. So I've made that line smaller on myself, still exists, and I've gotta pay attention to it, and I have actually produced the line that he can take for free if I'm square on him because now I've faced the threat. Questions on that? So I actually look for the dominant hand, and facing the threat is an adaptive thing because that threat moves. So I'm going to look at what have you unloaded. That is no longer a threat, right? So once I've caught that, now I'm going to face the next one. And it turns into, and the big thing is, this isn't, so if this is my fighter's line, this isn't some huge thing. I'm not facing over here and then having to correct over here. This is very subtle. Like, it's just that much takes away those lines. And so fighting a two-sticker, I'm really going to, like, one, fuck with range. But two, I'm going to make sure that I'm not over-committing to try to control one tool or the other. I'm going to make sure that I can face that very quickly by just picking up my heels and turning my feet. Same with like a Madu fighter, by the way. And that Madu fighter is at range. That's the threat, right? That dominant, like, so I'm going to deal with that threat, and then I'm going to pass to the next threat. And then that A range is that fucking thrust, and so I'm going to pass to that next threat. And so I'm basically kind of making a little zigzag in. Same with the two-stick fighter. So, good question. Any other questions before we start playing with power generation? Okay, who wants to feed this back to me?
So when we talk about squaring up, we're actually not squaring up to the threat because the threat is an offset. So if we move 6 to 8 inches on either side, zigzagging our range expands by 6 to 8 inches.
Yeah, and we call that facing the threat because what I'm doing is I'm actually facing that threat so I can address it. Because the person in front of me is not going to kill me. That threat is, so I want to face that and I want to deal with that. Anybody else want to feedback something that they thought about while doing this?
It's disruptive.
Very.
It's very disruptive. It's unnerving, and you keep doing it. And then the person's like, would you sit still?
Sit still, I want to hit you.
Yes.
Yep.
One of the things that I've been told to do by Matthew, actually, or Physio, is he likes to move in arcs. And it does the same thing, it just explains the why.
Sorry.
The why is so much more important than the what for me, because that's how I learn. Like if I know why I'm doing something, rather than just do it.
Yep. All right, does somebody want to explain how they can teach this? How are you going to take this home and teach this?
Lower the threat ratio by going to the sticks rather than full sword, going slower, also making sure that there are markers on the floor so that people can visualize it. So hit all of the teaching parts of seeing it, doing it, talking about it.
Yep.
Just as far as correct prioritization, talking about how it isn't necessary as a weapon, there's I was unaware of this space.
Yeah.
There, I always would be like, the weapon's the thing that kills.
Yeah.
But moving offset to that one spot is definitely something I'm going to think about.
So does anybody have an answer for why it's not the weapon and it's actually that space?
Because of the mechanics of your arm and elbow in the stick.
Yep. Also, if you face them towards the stick, they will chase it, which means they're going to overcorrect.
You did, but the actual combat where
Yeah.
you're fighting the sword instead of swinging through the head to the sword.
Yes. Yes. So that is something when you guys are teaching this to other people, it is something to watch for because people will be like, the threat, the sword. No, no, no. Right here. Here is a trick that we use at practice for some of our people that are like, they need the big visual, is we wear big colored ass armbands right where that threat spot is so they can ID, our newer people can ID that color band and go, that's the threat, and they turn right towards it because now they have a visual marker in their head to chase. So this helps, and it's like the cheat code of a lifetime because now they're not thinking about spot between shoulder and elbow and this and this. There's just a colored armband, and they go, chase orange.
Thinking about it as a metaphor is that the stick is the car, but the arm behind the stick is the engine that runs the car.
Yep.
If you disable the engine, you disable the car.
Yep.
Defensive, not offensive. Sticky shield, not the basket in that zone.
Yep. That's just really good. Anything else before we zip along to all of us getting to hit Pels?
One more note.
Oh, sorry.
About teaching your young how, in the shorter, not to get in the head at the very beginning, because that's important.
Oh, yeah. So this is a concept. Oh, I should actually probably say that. Thank you. This is a concept we teach right out the gate. The first time our people show up, we don't work on mechanics first. We actually have them chase the threat first. Because that way, when they get in armor, they are automatically turning towards that, and then we work on mechanics because we want tracking, we want safety, and again, our shorter fighters get flat snapped how much in the head when they start? It's like a landing pad right there. So this helps reduce some of that early frustration in our younger fighters, is you're giving them the ability to take away that target much quicker and start producing a threat in the fight. Like, much, much quicker, because if you start, like, fucking with somebody's sword arm, they're like, excuse me, you've been in, like, 3 months, go away. So, solid, and thank you for that reminder. All right, everybody ready to start messing around with power generation and going from there? Yes. Okay, so we are going to start this concept from top down. This is going to look like, very early on, that I'm throwing with just my arm, because I am. But one of the things we need to do is fix a lot of arm mechanics first, and then we're going to talk about connecting your body and then driving from the feet up. Everything, you should hit people with the world, by the way. And that's going to take foot connection to the ground, especially your big toe. By the way, I'm going to talk a lot about the big toe. But when we are starting this mechanic and teaching this mechanic, to teach somebody to move their elbow first, we are going to start basically from the shoulder over, and then we're going to build into the rest of the body. Because each piece and part, and this is something, again, we're going to like harp on teaching for everybody, bite-sized chunks. And bite-sized safe chunks for your newer students. So as people come in and they're starting a mechanic, or like everybody here is starting a new mechanic, and we're going to play around with this, is we're starting with a bite-sized safe chunk. And then if you go home with just this safe chunk, I need to remind you, this is not a complete picture. You cannot and should not just fight with your arm. You're going to tear it right out of the socket. But we have to start with a bite-sized processable chunk and then add in the next one, so it's a stair-step idea. We will get all the way through the idea today, but the thing is we're going to start in one spot and then go to the next. So when somebody says, hey, you look like you're throwing with your arm. Yep, I totally am. This is not the complete picture. I'm going to show you the complete picture and then talk about how we're going to break it down and why we stack it that way. So we're going to go over, so we have a traditional twisting mechanic in the society. And, oh, by the way, everybody is going to start off with your feet square. So I'm just going to tell you, as we're working on this, you're going to walk up with your feet dead-ass square. Because we are working on getting your hips connected to the rest of your body, everything else like that. Do not worry about being in a long stance. Yes, I understand that everybody fights in a different stance. But dead square for a little bit, and then again, we're going to face a threat on this, because we're always facing the threat, right? So the traditional twisting mechanic, I come up, I throw this hip around, right? That shoulder then follows, because I'm making a connection. So I've made this connection longer, like it's a big bungee cord, and now I'm going to throw it around, right? Telling blow. Please note, I'm now fighting this person. Fucking hate that. So that big twisting mechanic, it's so hard for me to do. I've drilled it out of myself so fucking much. But we have that twist. That is a telling blow right there. Somebody is going to take that shot. What we are going to be going over today is frame weight. Because I like to face the threat all the time. This comes from Bruce Lee's one-inch punch. This comes from many, many different styles of martial arts. What I am going to do is I am actually going to sink into this hip, and I am going to take 185 pounds through my opponent. And so from here, this hip is still going to move because I'm pushing it forward. My power chain is actually from this big toe up in a C shape through my body versus connecting this shoulder to that toe. Because I'm not twisting through. What I'm doing is I'm driving through. So I'm going to make this power chain come up all the way through that center in that big C shape. I'm just going to sit on this hip. I am still facing my opponent. I do not have to recover my body to get to the next shot. I need to recover my arm back to 90 and my shoulder back into a better position. So my recovery is this far. That's it now. I can now make another change, and if I make that change with a step or anything else like that, I can throw the next shot. With a twisting mechanic, it's a further recovery, because now I have to recover my body, right? I have unloaded my body. So to get to the next thing, I now need to pick everything up and get my body back so I can go. Again, very, very valid. And there are fighters out there that make this wicked fast because they can make that chain, that whip snap chain through their body really, really quickly. Where this breaks down is this is much harder on smaller fighters. Again, smaller fighter 101 class, right? A smaller fighter has to twist more to generate the same force. Physics is a thing because they have a smaller lever arm. So the taller you are, you twist a little bit and you can generate good force. A smaller fighter or a lighter bodied fighter has to twist so much more to get that big wind through their body. And actually, Timbrian, I'm going to use you as an example. Is that okay?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Can I have you come throw a flat snap, and I need you to throw it how you've learned to throw it? Because Timbrian is a small fighter, right? And we've been geeking out on this. And so just throw it how you used to before we talk.
It's a bad example of a good example.
So telling blow, but did you see how much she had to wind her body up to get it? Now, you're still learning this. I want you to draw that core up, get square, like we were talking about. There we go. So draw that chain up. I want you to put that big toe into the ground, draw that chain up, put that shoulder back and down, and then that elbow lead. And she's still working on it, but that was faster, and she got her body back. And so now, sit in that hip, and you can still see that like wants to twist. So it took me almost 9 months of standing on the Pell, literally like a fucking flamingo, to throw that shot would not twist my body through it because I had such the traditional like West Kingdom, like you stand here and throw your entire body into it. And I was like, or there's a better way. So this is what we're going to be working on here. And this mechanic is really beneficial for smaller bodies, smaller muscle mass bodies. I will notice, big guys, this mechanic can turn into knocking somebody the fuck out. Please ask me how I know. And because I've knocked 2 people out. And so this is a thing that as you're working with this, your power is going to go up, and then you have to like mitigate that power a little bit. Our smaller fighters too, same thing. This will give you a bigger power band to play in and an easier access to the amount of muscle. So do not be offended if somebody at practice, especially when you're playing with this, is like, get fucked. Why'd you hit me like that? You're like, sorry, my bad. All you do is you actually just relax part of the power chain and it'll take some of that power right off. We are going to talk about that because we do have some big guys here that are going to play with this. And you can come in smoking hot with this. Any questions so far? This was a very broad overview. And now we're going to go into like little bits.
Formulating.
Yes.
So you're doing 12 different things.
Yep.
At the same time.
Yep.
So between transfer, movement, shifting, shoulder, right, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have that listed on a piece of paper that I can follow?
I actually do. Thank you. And we're going to break it down to about 4 by the end of the day.
Okay.
So there's about 4 sections of this, and as you can pick it up. Also, I'd like to know, where's Panda? Panda's picking this up insanely fast, and so you're going to end up probably TAing pretty quick on this one because you've already got that, and you can feel that shoulder blade. So there are a couple things we're going to be watching for while playing with this. One, flaring your rib cage, because we're going to be talking about that 90-degree rule and getting those shoulder blades back and down. Anybody see somebody else flare their rib cage? Poke them in the diaphragm. Put your rib cage down. You're not a bell, fucking stack it. Okay, the other thing is we're going to be looking for bracing. You should be throwing this relatively mellowly right now. We're not trying to generate power yet. We're trying to generate good form. So the first part of any questions on that one? In armor, you can actually see a lot of people, they hold tension in their arm, and you'll see that little bit of a shake in their hand. Also, their steps will be harder. So a braced body, by the way, heel steps almost automatically. So a braced body, so this is going to be... Everybody's going to walk here for a second so you can feel this. So if you draw your abs long and lean and try to take a step, it's kind of like smooth. You can glide, you can move your body. I want you to now brace your body and try to take a step. Yeah, you start stomping, right? As soon as I start seeing somebody stomp in armor, I'm like, your core is braced. Ha ha! You can't breathe. And so as soon as you see that big stomp and somebody's fighting, I guarantee their core is just locked down. They are like hanging onto that core like the day is long. Or they've got a really bad pelvic tilt, which is also a fun one. So the first part of this mechanic we're going to talk about is the elbow lead. And I know there are some 5-pound plates here, and I'm going to need those. All right. Everybody's going to learn my favorite gym exercise now. Thank you. You guys are amazing for bringing these. Thank you so much. So, oh, yes, we have so many to play with. This is great. Nobody has to go pick up a rock. Long story short, I did not have 5-pound plates when I was in Drachenwald teaching this, and so everybody ran over to the rock wall and stole a rock that's probably been there since before our country was there, and then fucking ran back. I have my rock. I'm like, fuck, I just destroyed history. So, we're going to talk about that elbow forward mechanic. So, and there's a reason for doing this. So everybody's going to put their hand up, and can everybody, with their shoulder back and down, not wearing it like a fucking earring, or like, again, like cooked shrimp, put their elbow ahead of their hand. We're going to work on your flexibility. So bring your arm out a little bit. There you go. So we're going to need to work on your flexibility too. It's okay. A lot of people are very inflexible, or they're hyper flexible, nothing in between. So feel your rib cage. Don't sit it down. It's fine. There you go. You'll lose some of the flexibility in your arm. You're trying to cheat it right now with your rib cage. So you should, everybody here is strong enough to do this. As long as your elbow is ahead, you're going to do this with me. As long as your elbow is ahead of your hand, stand here and pass a plate, and you should be able to pick that plate up and take it back to your shoulder. And now you should be able to hand it back to me. And I can pick that back up and put it back. I want you to try doing that with your elbow behind your hand. See how it wings out, and now you're like, trying to lean over. So now, put your elbow ahead of your hand. Nice and smooth, almost no weight, right? This is strong form in the arm. I actually do this in the gym with like a 5-pound ball, so we can just throw the ball at each other. So we're probably going to pair up in lines again with everybody grab a plate, make a line. So if you've got a plate, you just need a partner. And if we, so.
Do you want us to just go back to our X's?
Yeah, you can go back to your X's. It's fine. We got like lines in here. It's great.
Which one's the lefty plate?
I will put an L on it, I swear to God.
In the martial art I do, we call it rolling the hip up. Is that the same thing as...
So that rolling the hip up is a posterior pelvic tilt. We actually don't want to have that in fighting. It ends up really fucking weird. So, okay. There you go. See, I saw you correctly, like your hand was ahead of your elbow, and then see how your shoulder's rolling forward? Put that shoulder blade back and down. Okay, everybody doing this, you call each other if you're trying to wear it like an earring, if your shoulder is up there, or they're rolling it forward. That shoulder blade should be back and down. You're also doing this left and right-handed for our lefty line over here.
Oh, just that, okay.
No, everybody's doing it left and right-handed. Do it without the twist.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, try again?
Yep.
Trayman's just showing off those fucking guns of yours. God damn.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. See, there you go. This is what we want to see. Okay.
And then do we just do two?
Just do it, and left and right-handed.
Perfect. Okay.
So I had a question.
Yes.
When you're doing your elbow, then is it down?
Yeah, so there.
Right
about there. See, do you feel like you like kicked your rib cage over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm currently recovering from a sublimated.
Okay.
I'm 8 weeks in PT. I was cleared.
Okay, cool. So just make sure, lots of PT. Make sure that while you're doing this, you make sure make sure that elbow's forward. And all you're doing is you're bringing it here and then see you can still see my elbows ahead of my hand here. Yeah, just like that. So that's what you're going to want to do.
All right.
So here's the fun part. A couple of you, I want you to take that plate and I want you to try to hang onto that plate and hand it to somebody with your elbow behind your hand. Because otherwise you're going to dump it right on the ground. How much more work is that?
I like that.
Yeah, right?
I like that at all.
Okay. So here's the dumb part of all of that. Hey, here's the part of this. How many of our friends have front-end rotator cuff injuries? This is why. The hand leading the elbow puts pressure on that front side of that rotator cuff. Because now we're trying to push our hand with our pec and collapse that shoulder forward to generate power. It's also the reason why you'll hit fucking flat. Because if you notice your hand, if you have your hand ahead of your elbow, what ends up happening is you get this chopping downward motion, or you're going to slap the fuck out of them, right? Versus if your elbow is ahead of your hand, you're going to chop right in the neck. And that is so much more satisfying. So any questions about this so far? Besides the fact that you need to do shoulder PT. I like how you're like, fuck you, Araya. So if we can take the plates and, yes?
So from a body mechanics standpoint, getting ready for a fight, how do you engage that shoulder, that lat, and how do you do that so that you can engage properly?
So much fucking PT. So much PT. So actually what I'm going to think about doing is when I put my shoulder blades back and down in my pockets, so that's going to be that first engagement in the lat. So by the way, there's going to be a couple of you in here today that I can promise you are lat blind, where like you've actually never activated that muscle before. So please prepare to be sore. There's a bunch of PT that you can do to build your lats. I actually really recommend doing PT, then learning how to lift and activate the muscle, like learn how to like get the muscle going, then ask it to do anything under load. Because a lot of us don't actually know how to use our body. But the first place that I do this and like how I teach a lot of people is fuck going to a wall. Most people don't do push-ups right. So I will put them on a wall, hands down, and you can do this in a plank, but it's easier on the wall. So hands on the wall, I'm going to actually try to point my elbow, the inside of my elbow, to the ceiling. And then I'm going to put my shoulder blades back and down in my pockets, and you can actually see the expansion. That is literally the first start of PT, by the way. And then they make you put a roller under your forearms and push it up and down the wall with just that. But if you can't feel that engagement right now, we're going to clear a section of the wall, and everybody's going to try to engage their lats. It's like everybody's on the wall. So I want you to put your fingers straight up, about that. And so I want you to think about turn your elbows up, and then you're going to put your shoulder blades in your pockets. There you go. Now I want you to push my hand out of your armpit. Can't do it right now, right? Okay. So we're going to start with, now I want you to do that, shrugging your shoulders back. There, feel it? There you go. That was your lat engaging, right there. So that's what we're going to be looking for today a lot. So just do 5 reps of that on both sides. Okay? Yep. There you go. And so I want you to scoot in just a little bit more. So take a step, put these back in your pockets. Now do that again. Nope, there's your chest, isn't that? So turn this elbow up. There you go. Feel how much more muscle just threw me out of your armpit? Now shrug that shoulder down. Not this. There you go. So this is going to be something you're going to have to practice at home. Yeah. And you're just basically going to teach that muscle to fire, but right now that muscle doesn't know how to go a lot because you fight from here versus this muscle, this here. And so it's going to be just you come up to the wall for a little bit, screw that in, and then push that back down and in. So how's that feel for you? See, I can actually watch you flex it. So you can see it's coming through here. I want it to drive here. Like you should drive my hand. There you go. Yeah, just like that. That's what you want. That's what we're looking for in this activation. Okay? We're going to be using that so much later. So belly button up and in. Nope, don't. There you go. Okay. Yeah, there you go. There's your lat. That's the muscle we're going to want a lot today. Okay. Belly button up and in. There you go. There you go. Okay. Also, while you're doing pel work, you're not going to wear those.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, relax for a second. Screw those. There you go. Feel how that turned this on. Now you can flex that by pushing that back and down in the pocket. There you go. See how much more lat you got? Now try it again this way. Now do it. None, right? This is also the reason why the elbow forward is key, because it allows that elbow stays up. So, everybody now knows what their lat is, right? Yay! Awesome. Yay! It's my favorite muscle. Actually, really, it's the booty, but that's beside the point. So, yeah, right? So, the next thing we're going to do is talk about, so we now have felt we've carried a 5-pound weight. No sword should ever be 5 pounds, right? And you easily pass that to the person next to you. This is the basic flat snap mechanic. Is that 5-pound weight plate is my basic flat snap right there. And so how we're going to do this is we're going to start a little bit from the chest up. So again, we're going to line up. We're going to go through this pretty quick. There's going to be a couple people that are going to like help make corrections. Again, real big class. So also, by the way, while we have food here, because we still have this facility while we have food, right? I'm going to do one-on-one time with people too. It may be a slightly shorter one-on-one time, but if stuff comes up that isn't making sense while we're going through this rapid fire, come grab me. I can eat chicken tikka masala while also making corrections. It's fine. So even after like the official class ends, I'm here to answer questions and to play with body mechanics and work you guys through some stuff, okay? So do not get shy about that at all. So the next section is where the fuck is my stick? There it is. Thank you. Anytime I just need to find you because you're just like my baby. So the next section of this is now that we have the lat going, so everybody can feel that going. This is going to be key to this and why I'm wearing a tank top, because a bunch of you are probably going to end up putting your hands right about here, so I can show you how to do this. So again, we're going to walk up to the lapel. We're square, right? We're then going to face the threat. Yay, we're facing the threat. I've got my elbow, and so we're going to start. Most people are probably not going to fight from this position. Why are we doing it this way? To learn the mechanic. Yeah, thank you. Learn the mechanic. And so we're going to come up to the lapel with our arm out, that 90 degrees. And here's going to be the key one. We are not death gripping our stick. This is not trying to run away from us. The bigger thing, like one of the things that we're going to go over and play around with a little bit, is I actually hang onto my stick long. So my hand is actually edge to like corner to corner. I'm trying to get the most of my palm on that stick as I can, because I don't actually hang onto my stick worth a shit, by the way. And I can still hit with plenty of power because that long loose is I'm allowing my body to transfer through, and I end hanging on with these 2 fingers. That's it. So, because if I'm death gripping it, I'm actually going to cross my body, because now that stick is going to match the angle of my hand. So I don't want it to do that. I would like more range, please. I will show that here in a second. So it's a relaxed hand. Big thing. Relaxed hand. Yell at your friends. Relaxed hand. It's fine, because everybody's going to death grip this thing like it's trying to run away. So with that relaxed hand, long relaxed hand in here, I'm going to come up to the lapel and make sure I'm facing the threat, because we always practice perfect, right? I'm going to flex that lat, and what's going to happen? Everybody put their hands up in that position. Here's a cool thing. When you flex your lat, what happens to your elbow? It wants to go, right? Can everybody feel that? Edward's over there like, I'm going to smoke somebody with this. Like, I'm going to be more of a Grim Reaper. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try to hold my hand back as long as possible. I'm going to let that elbow travel forward, and then I'm going to let that hand relax and go. And so what I would really like everybody to concentrate on, we don't need to twist our body. We are actually working on loosening up this shoulder joint. We collapse at this shoulder joint. This shoulder joint should be making this motion, not this motion, not this motion. I want this arm to be able to do this at the lapel. And by putting our elbow first, we now make a pretty flat snap. So this is the thing we're going to work on. And what I really want everybody to call each other on is twisting, actually. Everybody is everybody's safety buddy here right now. We're not twisting. We are only working on that shoulder, that lat to elbow mechanic. We don't need to hit the lapel hard. Right now, we're just going through this motion. I promise everybody today you're going to get to hit the lapel fucking hard. So, just not yet. So, from here, I'm just going to square up to the lapel, face the threat. I'm going to flex that lat. I'm going to let that elbow travel forward like it wants to. And then I'm going to try to push my hand in the straightest line possible. Again, notice where it's landing. It's through my opponent because I'm facing the threat, right? For free. Nice loose hand. I'm going to practice that a couple times, and we're going to rotate through because we've got a really big class. I'm going to try to be on the middle pel, and I'm going to help people. I promise you I am putting my hands on you at some point during this lesson because I'm going to get my hands on your elbow and throw your elbow for you because a lot of us have been taught to fight hand forwards, or our hand moves and their elbow tries to catch up. Whereas I'm going to tell you to leave your hand here and just let it take your hand with you. So I'm going to get underneath you. Don't hit me in the head. I'm going to get underneath you and I'm going to flick that elbow for you. I did it to you earlier. Would you like to be my example so I can show you how I'm going to get under this? So, thank you.
Because we need one.
Yeah. So I'm going to get down here. And what's going to end up happening is I am very likely to touch your wrist and put 2 fingers on your elbow. I'm going to be like, let's flex that lat. Where does the elbow go? The elbow goes forward. Okay, you ready? I'm holding this. It's literally just, I'm just reminding you that that stays there as long as possible. There you go. That is.
She's helping.
But even then, you can already see that he's not turning off the fight right now because that's the reason why we want to get rid of that twisting mechanic. And again, we can add that back in. The mechanic is still a valid mechanic. We can add that back in. You can just, if your elbow's leading, that mechanic just becomes even more like fucking thunderous. And so, but the goal is keep that body. Your body is the goldfish right now. We want to work on this mechanic. So it's that lat first, that lat gets flexed. We want to feel that elbow want to travel forward, and then we're going to let it travel forward. We're going to leave that hand behind as long as possible. Also, this is the straightest line as possible. If you notice, this isn't doing this, right? It's not this big haymaker roundabout thing. It's literally, I'm trying to take my hand and serve it as straight as possible off that shoulder. So this is where I'm going to ask everybody to help everybody at a given time. If you do not feel comfortable getting a correction from whoever it is, just politely decline, because sometimes you don't want to get a correction from somebody. It's fine. Just politely decline. But if we can kind of keep each other, but actually erases that, sorry. However, if we can keep an eye on each other, that will make this go a little faster. We will all be able to make this mechanic better because there's only one of me right now. So sorry, I wish I could clone actually, I don't wish I could clone myself. That would be terrible. Good God. Could you imagine a pack of me running around? Oh! Here. Okay, I'm gonna hold that. There you go. You feel that difference as soon as you did that? I now can't push down on your hand, right? So here, lat. So turn that elbow. There you go. Get this in there. There you go. You feel how you actually just started putting natural pressure here on my hand?
Yeah.
Okay, now that elbow goes first, and then we're gonna throw. There you go. So here, okay, lat. There you go. Now go. There you go. Lat. That hand wanted to go first, right? I can see he's fucking pushing it. There you go. There you go. There you go. Okay, play with that just a couple more shots and then twist. I'm gonna get behind you. So, I'm gonna push. There you go. So I want you to push. I want you to think about pushing my hand with your lat. So backing down in there. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Much better. You feel how you automatically put a little pressure on my hand there?
Okay.
Yeah, so now push that. No, not the shoulder forward. There you go. Better. Yeah, there you go. Now that hand's gonna go first. Okay, don't lean forward. Scoot to the pellet just a little bit more. There you go. So one of the tricks is get them closer to the pellet so they're not reaching. Okay, ready? There you go. Don't throw your face forward. Hey, there you go. Nope, that was your face. Okay, again, relax. There you go, there you go. There you go. How'd that feel?
Better.
Okay, again, look at it one more time. Breathe. Yeah, breathe. Big breath. And, ready? There you go. Cool, keep rotating through. Okay.
Left-handed, sorry.
Ah! Should have warned. You're fine. Okay. So see how your rib cage wants to pop the fuck out? There you go. Right? It feels fucking weird. Yep, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
I feel like my shoulders are now in front of my knees.
Nope. We gotta work on your posture. As soon as I let you go, you go, eh. Okay, so bring that up. Hold that stick, long hand. There you go, better. Okay, now we're gonna bring that lat in, not the rib cage. Lat. Flex my hand out. There you go. Feel that elbow's now loaded. That hand's gonna stay there as long as possible. There. Don't twist that body. There you go. There you go. Welcome. All right, guys. We've been going for a while. Everybody, has everybody rotated through yet? Okay, cool. I am going to highly recommend water. Everybody go drink water. Everybody ready to play with this with a little bit of frame weight transfer so we can actually put power into it? So, before we do that, I'm going to ask everybody, because again, we're going to feed back information, right? What's something you learned? What's something you struggled with? How would you talk about this with somebody else? All of that works. And just start off with what portion you're going to talk about. This is something I struggled with. Is there a way we can talk through this? This is something that I learned. Awesome. This is how I would articulate this to somebody else.
When you activate the last, there's no tension in the swing.
Yeah. Anybody else? There's a bunch of you here. There's got to be more.
There was a lot of concern about how do I maintain my guard.
Yeah.
It's going to be fine. If
Yeah.
somebody manages to spike you on the speed of this shot, then they deserve it.
Also, the big one in this is repeating. So our fellow new instructors / TAs, we repeat to people all the time, we're working on just the mechanic. We're not worried about a guard right now. We're not worried about power. We're just worried about the mechanic so we can get the mechanic clean, and we're going to add that guard in later when you know how to activate all those muscles correctly. So it's that little bite-sized chunk. Awesome. Also, by the way, I want to give everybody huge kudos. I've been watching people talk to each other about this and kind of like game plan it with each other. Where like, I can see you're struggling with this. I tried this and this worked. And so the sharing of information within this group is phenomenal. By the way, I'm watching all of you guys try and play and go, because there's only a couple of us here that can actually like go make really hard corrections at any point in time. But watching you guys all suss it out with each other is really, really cool. And some of the, like, you guys are gonna take it home much better because of that. So, we ready to get into the next thing where we get to hit the Pell really hard? Okay, so there's a couple things we're going to talk about physically real quick. We're going to talk about pelvic tilt and why it sucks, and then everybody's going to walk, by the way. So we're going to all gather on one side of the gym, and then we're going to walk across. Nope, not yet. We're going to walk across the gym because we're actually going to feel when our pelvis is in neutral. So to be able to do frame weight transfer, it is insanely hard to do this with a posterior pelvic tilt. A posterior pelvic tilt is when you're trying to show your dick off. Behold, my crotch. So it also squeezes your butt cheeks together, which makes it so you can't use your glutes right. Because now you're walking with your fucking heels too, by the way. And so this is very, very common in fighters. We see a lot of fighters get into a posterior pelvic tilt because they've learned to swing that hip forward, so they actually naturally kind of like throw it forward because then they can make that arc. And they then fight like this. Everybody that like sits like this, we call it shitting bear at practice. Why are you fighting like a shitting bear? And so I've already watched it a couple times today where you like walk up and people naturally, it's also what a lot of us refer to as parking on your hips. If you stand a lot for work, if you're talking with your friends, you park your hips forward and then you put your body in slack neutral. This, by the way, is not nice to your body. Don't fucking do it. So I'm going to be starting to make corrections on this. So if I grab your hips, it's because I'm going to go put them in the right position, and that all sounds super dirty. Quote me on that later. And so we want a neutral hip, and that neutral hip actually gives you a little bit of a badonkadunk. We like put a little torque in your fight, it's fine. So what you actually want to do is, if you're posterior tilt, you're going to feel it in your quads. A lot of us are very quad strong because we park on our hips, which means our quads are very activated. What I want you to do is put your big toe to the ground, and that's going to actually push your pelvis out just a little bit and start to activate the backside of your hamstring. You'll start feeling it push up the backside of your hamstring and right on the outside of your butt. It should feel like somebody is just gently cupping your butt. All of these are going to be super bad TikTok quotes later. Fuck. So, everybody put your big toe to the ground. And then I want you to draw yourself up into your hips and see what happens. And I want you to, like, a couple of us, I'm just like looking at people real quick. You still have a posterior tilt. I'm going to walk through. Can you actually walk through and like, I want that neutral hip. So if you see anybody stand with a posterior, so do you feel how you're like tucking your butt here?
Yeah.
Okay. What I want you to do is I want you to think about like you're almost sitting down into a chair a little bit.
Oh, this isn't my default. This is my default.
Oh. You park on your fucking knees.
Yep.
Look. Okay. So from here, I want you to draw. Nope. Just think about. There you go. That's a little better. And then just, I want you to relax your knees. Just there you go. This is This is actually a much more neutral hip. Now your shoulder is in line with your hip socket, and that's what we want to see. And now from here, you can push every direction, right?
Oh,
so if you have an anterior tilt, you can't. It swings your hip like this. I'm trying to slap him with a dick. And if you have that anterior tilt, it's actually like you're trying to like fall forward.
Yeah.
So I want that neutral hip. So you should feel like your hips can move in all directions, like you hula hoop actually. So just draw that V up, and then just put that big toe on the ground. Much better, yeah, good. I'm gonna make more corrections on the Pell as we go through this, but this is going to be key to frame weight transfer. Because if you have that posterior pelvic tilt, what it's gonna do is you're gonna start throwing yourself around in a circle and towards the ground. Nobody needs to be a fucking lawn dart today. So, by the way, they never had lawn darts in Europe, so I made that reference and everybody was like, what? It's the best game ever. Yeah, fuck, right? Realistic safety standards. No idea what to do with that there. Okay. So, this is where we get to talk about hip motion in the fight. There is a difference between a twisting motion and pushing your hip forward. A twisting motion, and this is where we get to all have, like, you're going to kind of have friends with this one. So a twisting motion, the depth of my stick is not going to change because I am twisting around my center. Right? If I want to push my hip, which is key to making sure that we can generate power, it is actually going to move forward. I am going to gain distance towards the Pell. So you can actually see from here, if I'm twisting, even at the Pell, it's a twist. I've changed no depth, right? Again, I can still generate power like this, just a different way. If I am pushing my hip forward and to my target, I have now gained distance, and my hip has actually only moved about 2 inches forward. This is going to allow that power chain to develop. If you notice, this hip did not go backwards. Twisting motion, we have those hips do this. Forward motion. I'm actually sitting down into this leg just a little bit and letting this hip relax so this one can travel forward. It's a good butt workout. Do this on both feet, otherwise you're going to end up lopsided. Nobody needs a lopsided booty. Booby. Hey, girl. So, questions about this one, because we're going to play with this a bit as we go through it actually on the Pell when we're throwing with power.
Question.
Yes?
Shoulders also trying to stay independent?
Yes, because again, we're going to connect that chain with our core. And so that chain all the way through. So, power chain is developed, again, facing the threat, right? You're gonna hear me preach this all day. So, I am going to drive my big toe into the ground. It is the one inside that I wish to, because I'm traveling this direction, it's this big toe that drives, because I'm going this direction, because I would like to deliver 185 pounds through this Pell. So I'm going to push my big toe to the ground. I'm going to let that hip travel forward, like I almost want to take a step. Okay, I'm picking my foot up for a step. It should almost feel that same way. This is also how we get into footwork later. Let that hip travel forward. As that travels forward, my abs are engaged. They've got tension. They're not braced. We're not trying to swing. So tension through the abs, which allows it to connect to that lat and that upper chain. And that arm is going to then go forward as that elbow leads, and I'm going to deliver. And all I'm doing is sitting down as I pass. This ends up being roughly that chain, and then we just speed it up. Big toe, lift and let that hip travel forward, abs, lat, elbow, hand. That is the chain that develops enough power for a telling blow with this system. And again, the bigger you are, the less of this chain you need. So, like Brick, you're going to need the chain from about here up. I'm pretty sure nobody wants you to put your big toe on the ground. However, the smaller you are, the more pieces and parts you need, because you need to be able to use more of your body mass to deliver a telling blow. This is the frustrating part. We get to have like the weird 101 section. This is the frustrating part about fighting. We have no weight classes, everything else like that. I would never want weight classes in this because I really like hitting big dudes really hard. But the thing is, the smaller you are, the more active your body has to be. The more you actually have to work on your body to do a telling blow in this game. It is one of the side effects of it. We are actually not an equal sport on this. You're going to have to work harder and a little bit smarter to deliver a telling blow. That doesn't say you can't. Every person here can deliver a telling blow. I've watched all of you throw on the Pell, and as you were figuring out this elbow forward mechanic, I could hear the difference from the first shot to the last shot of everybody was like, oh, this moves for nothing. Great. Now we're going to add to that. And so just remember, the smaller your students are, the more you're actually going to have to work on this chain much earlier to get them to be successful. Because everybody deserves being successful in this sport. Sometimes we have to remind ourselves that we need to spend a little bit more time with our smaller students or our less muscle students so they have all the tools needed to be successful.
You don't lift up your heel. How do you're bending your knee, but how are you just dropping the weight?
I'm just dropping the weight into that hip.
Lifting your heel.
Yeah. So I don't have to lift my heel because I'm not turning. That heel lift comes from us turning the hip because we're actually making this longer versus all I'm doing is pushing that hip forward. And so that hip going forward, I'm not actually changing the length of my leg at all. Yep, hit him with your ass. I'm using the outside kind of like a deadlift, actually. So I'm using that outside of my glute to drive that hip forward and push it forward. So again, we're going to start with that big toe on the ground. Everybody's going to walk here in a second, by the way, so we can make sure that our hips are in the right place, and then we're going to all go to the Pell, and we're going to hit the fuck out of this thing. So from here, big toe to the ground, right? We're going to push it, and you can see that it wants to already move my body across. I'm not using the outside of my foot. If I push with the outside of my foot, what happens? Stand on the outside of your foot and push. It slides. It also is really bad on your knee. So that big toe down, the ball, that foot down, I'm going to push. And instead of going all the way across, I'm going to let it push that hip forward towards the threat, because again, we're going through our opponent. Abs, lat, elbow, hand. And then it ends up all day long. And it's free motion. Also, by the way, this is again, we're all going to practice that big loose hand while we're doing this. I would much rather you hit lighter right now because you're practicing a looser hand than death grip this thing and actually jack your elbow. So there's also one thing. If you have a really thick handle and a small hand, you're going to be throwing with this stick, by the way, because if your handle is too thick, you're going to death grip it anyways. We are going to be talking about handles at the end of this class because then everybody can listen to me cuss a lot. So, everybody ready to walk? Okay, here is the dumb portion of Araya's class. Most of us heel step, right? If we are a posterior tilt in our hip, what ends up happening is we stab the ground with our heel, which means our hips are already kicked forward. Also, please note our center of balance, we're already trying to play catch up with our body. If we have an anterior tilt, we tend to fall forward. Both of these are terrible for our fighting. So everybody get into that neutral hip, and then what I want you to think about is, again, we're going to push that big toe into the ground, and you can see that my leg already wants to go through it. I teach this way too much, so it's kind of like the cheat code. There is a little bit of a struggle bus to this. It took me a couple weeks to learn how to do this. So I'm going to push that big toe into the ground, and I'm going to let my quad pick me up forward while pushing with my glute. And I should land on the ball of my foot. naturally with my body over my center. Everybody try to take a step.
You're pushing with your right glute?
Yep. See how you're like reaching with your toes? Yeah. It means that your hips are in front of you, so I want you to try to push with that foot, and I'm going to put a finger here. There you go. Now you're not trying to like seek it with your toe. Brick's like, don't lean forward, don't lean forward, don't lean forward.
I feel like a lot of the stuff that you're saying is stuff that I kind of organically do.
Yeah.
Trying to not overthink it.
Yeah. Yes? Oh, okay.
I don't know how to push off with this leg.
So think about, so you've done deadlifts, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you put that big toe to the ground, it should feel right here, and you just let it pick the foot up. So and right now it's gonna feel like, I'm like lifting my feet like super hard. And so let your quad create the balance.
Okay.
So your quad is actually creating the balance, and then you relax all of it, and then you get this almost predatory walk.
Yeah, interesting.
So it's one of the tricks, and then so one of the things that I think about in fighting is if I've got that, I can move any direction because I'm actually just picking this up and then I'm just letting my other foot follow.
From here it made sense. From here,
it's really weird to think about because you're actually asking your body to balance, move forward and balance, and it's like my PT made me pace a gym for an hour and a half. Okay. Yes.
Is there anything inherently wrong about heel striking if the rest of the mechanic is right?
It's always going to put you behind. It means that your body weight is actually behind. So if the mechanic is correct, what I would say is actually grab like right here in your ribcage and just move your center of gravity forward by like 3/4 of an inch and then try again. Because what's probably happening is you're actually leaving your upper body behind. So if the mechanic is still there, you're still heel stepping because your weight is 100% over the top of this versus your weight is traveling with the step. All right, cool. Now we're going to hit.
I'm not. It sounds like how I normally walk, and so I'm like.
That's fine. If it's how you normally walk, yeah, then you're fine.
Oh.
We did something similar to this in Kung Fu, where it was explained that you see these two lines?
Yeah.
Imagine it was like a balance beam, and basically got two small balance beams, and
And
you
you're-
had to walk
Yep.
on each
It's
one.
actually, it's very, very close to that.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, everybody ready to hit the pedal now that you've walked? All right, so again, we're gonna do the 2 lines. We'll recenter the pedals up that we've abused all day long. Okay, grab your sticks, get your pedals. Hang on, passing behind, I'm gonna touch you. Pick up your chin. Now do it. Up and in, bring your feet together just a little bit more. Okay, now I want you to drive, just like you're trying to pick up that step that we just went, drive with that foot forward and let it come off the chain of your body. It should, yeah, there you go, better. And now, I'm gonna put my hand right here, so this comes in flat. Yeah, there you go. Relax your shoulder, bring this up and long, there you go. Do it again. Yeah, there you go. Feel the difference? Okay. Yes. So one of the things that you're doing, which would be very interesting, is like, is this pick up your chin. And that corrected almost all the rest. Okay, I'm gonna get underneath you, okay? Ready? No, it's fine. It's fine. So, make your feet a little bit wider.
Okay.
Okay, there. So now I want you, this toe, it should feel, I'm gonna touch your butt, is that okay? I'm sorry. So it's gonna feel like you're pushing here into this, here, lat, here.
Yeah.
Okay, so push here. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Again. Harder. There you go.
pushing with your back.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Breathe out. Breathe out. There you go. Yeah. Hip forward. Push. Yeah, there you go. Good. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I do have to lift my heel, but
It's fine. So this is where we're not going for perfect. We're going for better right now, and then we're gonna play. Yeah. No, you can have a beer. Okay. No hyperextend. There you go. Yeah. There you go. Okay. Ready? Push from here. No big twist. Why are you twisting? Hey, yeah. same power, right? Yep. Yeah, there you go. Elbow first. That last one, did you feel your hand go first?
Yes.
Okay, and?
Felt it in the elbow.
Yep. There, better. Yeah, there you go. Good job.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna show you something real quick. So go ahead and throw. So, see how she wants to twist?
Yeah.
So I'm actually gonna grab you. Is that okay? Yeah. So go ahead and load. I'm gonna sit right here, and as that elbow starts leaving, get your elbow up and back so you can actually get it forward. So as that elbow starts to leave, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask her to sit across. And so I'm gonna teach her this motion by just taking her with me physically to then deliver. Okay, ready? And it's gonna be a little big for a minute. Scoot closer to the pelvic. It's gonna be a little big for a minute, but it's gonna teach her. Nope, see you twisted there, didn't you? Just sit into I want you to sit into this hand. Shove me away with your hip. Yeah, there we go, better. There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
So that's one of the tricks to get them to like sit on that hip.
Pull them right into it.
Yep. No, you're doing really good. You're seriously doing really good.
Trying to get my ass down there, but it's like, no, not
Yeah.
today, Junior.
Yeah. So it's more like lifting with it. So I'm gonna lift that butt cheek up and like move it across. And so instead of like sitting, I have to teach a lot of people like, it's like sit down. It's that lift and move.
Okay.
So
thank you.
Yeah, you're doing really good.
Can I ask you for a quick timing question?
Yeah.
In terms of that, like toe, hip, engaging of the lats to the arm, is it a roll up? Is it like a 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah. So I'm pushing it all the way across, and the kinetic chain gets super short as soon as you know how to do it. But yeah, it's that toe, lift that hip goes forward, those abs are engaged already. So those abs are engaged, which will pull as long as that, and then you pull that lat down and in, and then it goes.
Okay, so it's like a winding up with a spring and then
let it go. Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, one more pose.
You gotta do it again.
Hi, everybody!
Oh yeah! Creighton!
Look, I'm Edward. Actually, where is I think he's still. He's only gonna be like an inch shorter than me.
He's in the far back still teaching.
Yeah.
Edward.
This is gonna be hilarious watching him just rip everybody up with this. All right, so Edward, I think I'm only like 2 inches taller than you right now. So we've got an hour left of the day before food's here. When food gets here, I'm happy to do some one-on-one stuff, so we're gonna keep rolling through. You guys are doing a phenomenal job. Again, I wanna give everybody huge props. I was watching a bunch of corrections happen, and I was watching you kind of exchange information and ask questions with each other. Fucking amazing, I love this. So we're gonna kind of go to perspective, a little bit of motion, especially for our smaller fighters. So we're gonna focus, this next section is really gonna be focused on our smaller fighters and teaching smaller fighters and our smaller fighters' perspective of the universe. And then once that's through, I'm happy to do one-on-one stuff, small group stuff, we'll geek out, yes. Yep, that's where we're getting to. So before we move to this next section, what came up for people? Does somebody want to feed this next section back to me? Like, what's something that you struggled with? What's something you learned?
I'm not understanding where I'm supposed to put how my hips are supposed to stay separate from my. I'm not understanding it. I don't get it.
Okay, so the difference between tension and bracing, so our hip can move and still create tension?
Maybe. I'm not sure how to describe it other than I don't understand.
So, do you want to have some one-on-one time after? Do you want to have some one-on-one time? Did anybody else struggle with this too? A little bit? Okay, so right after we do the official end of class, if you struggled connecting the chain, let's do some one-on-one hands-on time, if that's okay with you guys. Would that be helpful? Okay, cool. I like how you're in the back like, I am claiming this time. So is anything else come up for anybody else?
I feel like the hip motion you're trying to get us to do is a lot more subtle than I'm used to. It's it's big motion, and it's harder to pull it off.
So one of the things that actually came up off the spot is, so if you have somebody put their hand on the side of your hip, I'm just trying to shove their hip away. I'm not trying to hip bump it. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to shove into that hip, and that was seeming to help a lot of people. So if you were struggling with this, that putting your hand, get a friend and put it in the side of your hip And what you're trying to do is you're trying to almost like sit down into that and just get it to move a little bit. And that seemed to be helping a lot of people with connecting this chain, because the big thing is it also takes away the want to twist that hip away, because now you're not twisting through that pressure, you're trying to sit into that pressure. And so we're gonna do that in like afterwards. I'll actually get my hands on people real hard and we'll see if that helps. So, okay, at the end of I'm gonna wrap up probably making fun of swords, just so you all know. I'm very sorry. I'm very judgy. The majority of people having trouble letting go of their handle have their stick is too big. And this is causing people to want to grip their stick instead of actually letting their hand be long, which is over cranking their entire arm. I probably should have started class with that, but I can probably geek out for 4 hours on how to make a new stick. We're also gonna talk a little bit of weird biology right now. Okay, this stupid, our hands are different between genders. Get fucked. Does not matter in our sport, actually. Height is a bigger differential for where your basket hilt should be than how your hand is, by the way. The tilt in the basket hilt, that we heard all women need their basket hilt tilted. No, you do not. Everybody under like 5'7" needs it, because you have to lift your hand, so you're actually collapsing your wrist. That's the reason why the basket hilt needs to be tilted. The shorter you are, the bigger tilt you need to clear your own weapon. It is not about how your hand is built at all. It is literally how high you have to lift your hand to get to the flat snap. The other thing that we're going to touch on real quickly, because this is a little bit of a gender minorities focus class for our teachers. There is very, very little difference, male to female, in our sport. When we get into Olympic athlete levels, that's when that criteria actually starts affecting it. Our sport is so varied in body style, in size, weight class, fitness. Like, this is the one sport where a 70-year-old fat man can beat the fucking shit out of me. So, trying to divide our sport by gender and trying to divide our training by gender actually causes a lot more barriers to entry. By trying to say women have to train like this and men have to train like that, it actually causes a lot of differences and a lot of barriers, because now you're trying to put somebody in a box and they have to function inside that box. You want to know who's never cried in armor? Never in my life. I've never cried after having an adrenal dump, but I was taught very early in my life to fight. I was raised like a boy. And so our upbringing affects adrenal dumps faster than our hormones. There is a little bit of effect in there, but in our sport, more often, try to wipe that board clean, especially as we've gone into the gentle parenting universe. Our younger and younger fighters are dealing with less and less aggression and violence in their own homes. And so now when they're put into a sport where somebody is trying to hit you with a stick, we now have both men and women crying. It's fine. Like, literally, it's their body's like release and everything else like that. Try not to genderize it. Also, try not to make it weird. Who cares? Are you fine? Good. You're expressing your emotions. I was not expecting that. Also, one of the other things that we want to look at in this, and I'm just going to say this is one of the best things that we ever came up with at one of our practices. We have a couple neurodivergent folks that are super, super neurodivergent. And when they get overwhelmed, they stop talking. They have pogs. Green, you can fucking talk to me. Give me my feedback. Red, get fucked. And it's a polite get fucked. But then they don't have to answer. Those go by their helmets. Everything else like that. So all of us will walk over to helmets and we'll check helmets before we give feedback, because now they can feel safe in the environment, and we're trying to make a more inclusive environment, right? Because we don't want this sport to die. I don't need this sport to be something ruled by 6'1" dudes. I want everybody here, because the more people we have here, whether they're weekend warriors and they're out there once or twice a year, to people that are in the gym 5 days a week doing this, that they need to be a Duke 17 ways from Sunday, I don't care, you all belong here, and I want everybody to feel safe. And so we need to figure out how to break the boxes and break the stereotypes so everybody can feel like they can be at practice, whether they can be super present or they need to be like, I'm out of words, don't talk to me. So find those ways for those practices and we'll get more people in. The more boxes we break down, the better. The more that we also understand that physiologically, sometimes we need to figure out not physiologically, but socially, sorry, that we need to build different sets of armor. We need smaller armor sets. Like, for both men and women. Like, if small guy shows up and they're running around like a big bell is on them, they're going to get just as injured in that. If a girl can't fit because she's got double D boobs, like, we should be bringing armor that makes it easy to get our newcomers in. I hate the sentiment that you should hate your loaner armor. It should hurt you so you build your own. We have an expensive fucking hobby. Heavy fighting is not cheap. Our helmets right now, a cheap helmet is $500. Don't hurt your people and decide that they have to make it through that arc to get here to do this. Instead, make it easy. Like, if you have the extra money, fund getting somebody in armor. There's hundreds of suits sitting on people's shelves out there that aren't touched anymore. Buy it off of them. If you've got the means, buy it off, give it away. Who cares if it walks away? 1 in 10 fighters stick. We've got 1 in 10 people that eventually will stay. Or they'll show back up 2 or 3 years later. Be the change you want to see in the SCA. I'm going to stand on this fucking soapbox. Fuck the boxes we were all raised in. I want to hit my friends with sticks. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to go to perspective. So these boxes are here for the simple reason of many of our instructors have learned to teach at their height. Many of us see our fight at your own height. So now we're going to change that literally to an extreme, because most people aren't going to be this tall, by the way. I wish I was this tall. Actually, not really. Door frames would be a bitch. So, but everybody is going to rotate standing on these boxes. And this is where, if you've got your sword and shield here, this is the reason why I asked you to bring it. If you don't have a shield here, I brought mine. There's going to be loners, because you're going to want a sword and shield in your hand so you can, or the person on the ground is going to have it. Person up here, I don't care. Have your sword so you can kind of think about it. But you're looking at the angles they're presenting, and how do we need to change our teaching? Because when everybody's that tall, wow, do you see a lot. We all get to live like Ed for a couple minutes. And so this is going to help you get perspective and gain perspective for your future students, also for yourself when you get feedback. Because when somebody comes up to you and be like, you need to hold your shield like this, and be like, I'm sorry, this giant angle and your height do not match. Change it here, but I want you to also be able to think about what you're presenting in it. And so we're just going to rotate through. You're going to pop up. If you go into one line, you're to go out into another line, because we want multiple perspectives on this. Both short and tall, we're all going to do this, because the tall guys, we're going to put you at such an extreme that you're actually going to see how most of us short shits live. All right, so nobody start yet. Let everybody get over here. Yeah, so let everybody get over here, and you are going to start out of range, guys. So this is the one thing. If you are walking to the box, you are starting out of range, because that's where the fight starts, right? And so I want you to go into your typical guard. Don't really think about it. Go into your normal guard, everything else like that, and you are to just walk at the person so they can see all the angle changes that occur. Also, remember, everybody face a threat, because we're practicing that all the time, right? Yes?
When people are, especially starting to shield, as they walk, the left foot, right foot, whichever foot is forward, the shield tends to go down, and people tend to walk like this, so pay attention. Yes, I know, it does happen.
That's the reason why you hold the shield independently.
Correct.
But yes.
But as people walk, when they have to walk for long distances, they will eventually start to lean.
Yes. And so this is going to be the thing, is try to be on your best guard walking in. The goal and idea of this is so the people up here, especially our shorter fighters, can see the perspective that they are providing in the fight. Also, I'll tell you, once we go through this once or twice, find somebody that has a similar style to you. So you can look at them and be like, well, fuck, that's what I do. Oh, shit. So everybody have a little fun with this. This is...
How do you want the mechanics and logistics? Do you want us to get off, go to the back of the line?
Yeah, when you pop off the box, just go to the back of the line if you're cool with that. Yeah, just pick a line and go.
I can watch it becoming in.
Oh, I don't fucking love you right now. Fucking tall asses. No, this is great. Yeah, this is observation only. If you see a really, really big hole, you are welcome to slowly lay it on that person or point something out. So as I'm walking up, if I'm thinking about this, and where's that big hole? Where can you see me now that we're in this? So I'm like, not you. I want you to look for me.
Oh, for you.
Your job is to look at me and be like, where's your holes? Or go that huge V that's right here. Like, oh.
I'm guessing you'd be able to raise that
Don't worry about, so this is like slow work. If I walk over and there's a huge hole, I'm not here to correct it. I'm here to have them say, I can see this.
Okay.
So I'm not here at this moment in time to be like, I'm catching the shot. Be like, oh shit, there's that hole. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go think about that while I walk back through the line.
But you can't get me to block it.
We're not here thinking in a defensive mindset. We are in an offensive mindset right now. Thank you very much. Okay, everybody have some fun. Yeah, so that height, what else can you see?
What else do you see?
Yeah, what happens when I get real close?
Ooh, okay, I'm usually coming down like this.
Yeah, but that's like, this is how big those are at a smaller fighter. So somebody that's like 5'5", this is the lines they deal with all the time.
And I probably could get there.
Yeah. I need to apologize to some smaller people.
Yeah, go run through. No, go run through, yep.
I want to just walk at you like this.
I see like a circle here, but you can flex it really well. Maybe if my arms were longer, I would I don't wrap much.
Yeah, but like a side step would definitely get me above.
Yeah, there may be a and that's a really good block.
So like the only thing I would throw is
You know why it was hard to see anything being up taller than her? She always makes me taller than her.
See what's really funny right now? We need to fucking get you a second box.
I know.
Yeah, right? It's like, that's fucking free all day. So that's a lot of that. Yeah. I love this weird perspective thing because people are like, what? So don't even worry about blocking. All of it is kind of like looking for, like, this angle is huge on you right now. So, and it's not really, I don't even almost want to throw this because it's so far down, right? And so it's that, like, way upper angle. Don't lean back. Get your hips right. Get your hips right. Come on. Yeah.
3 months.
Yeah. No, you're doing pretty good, dude. So, step up on the...
hit you.
I know, right? That's part of the problem, right?
You're like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well, so no, but that's actually, so this is just to see perspective, because you're about to be able to look down and see what most tall fighter, how most tall fighters see us.
I don't think of myself as a small person. Am I a small fighter?
Yes.
Ugh.
Our average is 6'2".
What a weird but kind of cool experience.
Right? Well, that was fun. Everybody got their box steps in for the day. So, why did I just have everybody run through this? Yeah, because it's fun. I mean, yeah, kind of.
Better awareness.
Yeah.
Perspective. So it gives you ideas about where they're vulnerable that you don't expect. One of the things I was realizing, if I'm fighting someone who's real tall, I tend to want to get real close.
Yeah.
Because I want to reach them. But they get the back of my head free if I do that.
Yep.
And so the range would be better for me sometimes.
Nice. Fucking good call out. Oh, sorry.
It's about managing angles.
Yeah.
Just because you're tall doesn't mean you can manage your angles.
Yep.
Fighting in 3 dimensions.
Yep.
when you are fighting someone, you may not be aware of, when you're teaching them, where their openings are. This pretty much puts it out black and white, that you're like, oh.
Yeah, why don't you just look at them and you're like, that's why I get hit there all the time. Oh, damn. Anything else? Besides all of us giggling that Edward turned into a giant ant. So what was an odd thing that came out of this for anybody?
Besides rage and how she'll
Oh, yeah.
It was very easy to forget to face the threat when the threat is
So tall.
like a foot and a half taller than me.
This is actually, I think you just made my favorite call out of the day. This is actually something that a lot of small fighters struggle with because the threat feels like a cone or an umbrella over the top of them. And so facing the threat is like, all of a sudden they're like, it's everywhere because I don't know how to deal with this. And so typically, by the way, if that feeling exists, you're fighting too close. Because as soon as I can get over the top of you, you're actually too close and you're not managing your range well. But this is something to think about when you have a new fighter that starts struggling with like how I'm not facing the threat, I feel overwhelmed, is are they actually getting too close and they are actually being overwhelmed? Because at that point in time, you can't face what is literally over the top of you besides being like, I'm fighting right here. And that just sucks. You get hit in the belly a lot. So, fantastic call out. So this is a good example of stuff to think about when you're teaching a smaller fighter is like, why am I always teaching him to throw up? Because you naturally get to throw up. You're throwing even, right? So is that a thing where you need to start thinking about like, cool, I have a much shorter fighter than me. Do I need to like teach them to be looking from like here down for viable targets and this comes in as secondary versus this being primary in how we're teaching them and what we're asking them to throw and how we're asking them to move? Edward, and then you.
Ron Boulder, to address this, talks about taking your defense much like an archer does.
Mm-hmm.
So an archer shoots an arrow the same way every time, but to adjust for range, they pivot at the hip for greater distance.
Mm-hmm.
Ron Boulder talks about taking your guard and addressing up or down depending upon the relative height difference. That's one way to consider it.
Ron Boulder is also epic.
Yes. Yeah.
Epic. Amusingly enough, one of the things that like we can geek out on this is all of my shorter fighters start with corners, because then they can put the corner up versus a round shield where they have to then get rid of their offensive weapon to block this. Here, put the corner there and give them that corner is a huge thing for our smaller fighters, which by the way, we're gonna get into with shields here in a minute. So,
I run into a lot of smaller fighters who are headhunters and trying to convince them, look, you have all of this and you're down there for it. So there's a mindset, I assume it's because they're used to looming and that's what they see, that's where the threat is, and they want to go after it.
And a lot of times they're also mimicking their trainers. You'll find that our students mimic us, right? Including, like, you'll hear me talk about when I'm trying to, like, talk fighting, I will always concentrate on making sure that my elbow is going first while I'm talking about fighting, because people will mimic your body language. And so if you're fighting a much taller if your trainer is a much taller person and they throw a shit ton of headshots, you are watching them be successful with that. And so you're like, haha, I should also be successful with that. Nope, I am 5'5". I am not Havek. If I was gonna throw his flat snap, my hand would be like up here. 1, 2. Okay.
One of the things I also notice is that when you're shorter, you have to have defense because the taller people can reach you easier before you've even gotten into
breaking range.
Breaking range.
Yes.
Range is so big.
So did that come up for anybody while they were standing on the box? If all of a sudden they were like, my range is much different now. That is something also to think about with your shorter fighters is we do not ever get the first action. Never. I do not get initiative until I take it from you. All right. So this next section, so for like the next 30 or so minutes before we get food, we're going to literally just talk about equipment, tools, and some of the presentation of a shield. We're going to play a lot with, like, I'm going to use you as an example a lot for like motion, because I see you standing over there being like, fuck this thing attached to my arm. But the first rant we're going to talk about right now, and I wish I had a draw knife with me because I would cut down so many goddamn sword handles, it's unfucking real. So, if you have to grip your sword handle, you are automatically going to fight like that. There's no loose hand. If you're in here and I can't just hang on to this thing with 2 fingers, you are going to fight. So the bigger your sword handle, the more work you're asking your body to do right out the gate. And so one of the things also is people all the time form their sword handle for a hammer fist, which means your hand at rest is going to revert to that. My sword handle is cut to feel like it is nothing at the apex of my flat snap, because that's where I want it to go, right? I want it to feel just perfect in my hand when it's out here like this. I do not carve my handle to sit here. This should be mildly annoying, actually. So I carve my sword handle for that long grip at the end of my flat snap. And I carve, please note, the entire length of my basket hilt. And the reason why I carve for the entire length of my basket hilt is at this point in time, my hand can travel through this. I don't have to worry about there being some knob at the top of this thing or some edge or anything else like that that's going to bust up my hand or anything else like that. I'm not worried about it stopping me. My sword feels good in my hand the entire length of the basket hilt, so I can fuss with it. I can play with it. I can sit out here and we'll, like Edward and I are fighting and everything else like that. I can make that a little bit longer. I can shorten it up and set it down into my hand. And he's going to read all of those threats, by the way. By me changing literally just where I grip that stick, he's having to change what he does because he knows that by me being able to slide it, it wants to go a different direction. It's going to change how the weight moves in my hand. If I have to hammer grip this thing out here, I have to move my arm, and he's not fussed about it whatsoever, right? Because this shoulder's now locked. Versus I literally was just changing where my hand was, and now he's changing that threat. Because now I've just changed how that wants to move. Carve your entire handle. Also, I probably guarantee, carve your handle a little smaller than you actually think you need it. Most of us, again, are carving it like it's a fucking nailing hammer. That is going to make you drive your stick like that all day long. You're going to throw it like it's a framing hammer. This is not. I want my stick to be an extension of my arm. I do not want to grip it, because if I grip it, please note what just happened. All I did here was change how I'm holding my stick. Open hand, so much more length. Closed hand. Now I have to turn my body to get to the sweet spot of the stick, right? Also, I lost like 6 inches, and I don't need to be any shorter than I already am. Thank you very much.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How much room do you need inside your basket? Does it matter? Like
So,
your basket hilt to your hand size so you can move around?
Yes, actually, so this actually does affect your stick. So I fight with these plastic ones. Amusingly enough, when I can get a hold of the gray ones, I'm happier, because the gray ones are 1.5 ounces heavier just because of the material, and I like just a little bit more weight on them. But I fight in this because I can move, yeah, girl, my favorite one. But I can move my hand around inside it much easier than if this is closed around, which means that when I need to lift my hand up, I have the room inside my basket hilt to do, sorry, to the camera. I have my room inside my basket hilt to be able to do this.
Make a comment. Whatever hand position you take in your equipment should not hurt you.
Oh, yeah.
Modify your equipment so that it does not.
Yeah, absolutely. If your forearm is...
I want to show you how to modify your equipment. We all come with that kind of knowledge.
Yeah. Also, by the way, this is one of the greatest things that Havek ever taught me to do, is we would grab all the dead sticks and cut them just long enough to get them into a vise, and then we'd cut sword handles and just practice cutting sword handles. And we'd fuss with them and play with them, and we'd cut it down a little too far, we'd make it a little too big, and we just put it in our hands until it was like, oh, that one feels right. Putting that one on a chunk of rattan. Gonna go fight with that for a couple weeks. And we'd make notes, and we'd be like, there'd be like little yes, no, fuck this one. But we'd go and play, and we use dead sticks. People will just give you dead sticks to cut handles in, and I guarantee probably that much of that stick's good. There's 2 handles right there that you can practice on. Like, you don't have to waste a good stick or rattan to play around with cutting a different style handle. And I'll say, tape a basket hilt on it. Move it around. Worst case, you have a dead hand for fighting later. Like, it's fine. But play with your gear. Your gear should not hurt you. absolute tell. If you are starting to get that radial pain, that like our classic tennis elbow, you're over gripping your stick, which likely means your basket hilt is too heavy and / or your handle's too big. It is okay to have a light stick. This is kind of like my medium weight stick. I fight with a slightly heavier stick when I want to make sure I don't need to up anything. And I fight with a slightly lighter stick when I just want to fuck around and like I'm playing with mechanics. And so I've got 4 active sticks at any given time, so I can just play around and be like, this stick, no. I swear I'm like the 3 Bears, Goldilocks with my sticks. There'll be a practice where I'll be like, nope, not that one. Nope, not that one. This one. And then the next week I want a different stick. And so play with your gear, be willing to try new things. But if your arm is starting to get tired, probably assume it's gear that's forcing you to grip too hard. Same with your shield. Your shield is too big. If you are starting to get that capsular pain, it's likely causing you to roll that forward, and now you're taking a blow with your shoulder in the worst position possible, because now it's forward in the socket and you're taking a blow and it's slamming back in the socket and then you're trying to get back. That is how to separate your shoulder, my friends. Especially with a heavy shield, a large shield, or anything else like that, or your handle's too loose, you're always going to be trying to mitigate that in this shoulder, and that's where that damage comes in. So if you're starting to have this or this, time to yeet your gear and try again. I think I have my first heater shield, I think we rehung it 4 times. That thing is punched full of holes, because we go play with it, I'd look for a block and be like, nope, block's not there, need to move that by like 2 inches, and I'd Sharpie it. And we go move the handle the next practice, and we go play with it, and if the shoulder was barking, then I knew that I was too steep. If it was too shallow, I would get my legs ripped the fuck off me. But it's worth playing with your gear. It's also worth, by the way, asking to borrow gear at practice. You do not have to die on the hill of your current gear. I don't care if Duke so-and-so says, this is the one true stick, and this is the one true shield. I will be like, fuck you. I don't care. Cool, we don't want to train together, that's fine. But the thing is, if your gear is not working for you, play with something else. Try something else at practice. Fighters, shockingly enough, are totally like, you want to try this stick? See you later. Or my shield. I don't care, pick up my shield today. I'm happy to let people bang around with that thing and try it out. Because the more we share our gear, the more knowledge we all get, right? Again, and somebody else could be like, your shield is the best thing ever. And you're like, cool, let's go cut you one. And that way we share the knowledge and we get to try new things, and maybe we break each other out of our habits too. So.
Quick thing, I was so surprised when I felt this. Is it all right if we pass around just for
people
to feel this? It's unlike anything. The handle.
Oh yeah. Oh no, we've had this argument. We've had this argument for like 6 years. Oh, sorry. Yep.
So you say we have our handle is too big. So what is the metric you're using for determining how big it is?
It feels good. Actually, amusingly enough, there's no actual metric, because everybody, so my hands are built like fucking bear paws, by the way. For the size I am, I have very thick palms. And so my sword handle is actually narrower because I don't want it to fight this muscle mass here. I want this free so I can grip and let go. And so there's a specific cut in my handle to fit this muscle mass right here. Versus a bunch of other people don't have that because they didn't milk goats twice a day for fucking 9 years of their lives as a child. Bear paws. And so one of the things that I do is the metric I should feel good grabbing it, making my hand long, and then hitting the pel. And when I hit the pel, and if there's a little bite almost, where it's just there's that one little uncomfortable thing, I will go take it right back off, file that down, put it back in my hand, and do it again. And mind you, as you are learning and growing, I will totally get you, I promise. As you're learning and growing, a stick almost never feels comfortable in your hand. You're not used to doing this, so there's a little bit of reverb, there's other things. I also highly recommend for all of my friends that are hypermobile, shit ton of us in the SCA, go get hockey grip tape or go get racquetball tape and put it on your handles, because it's going to reduce some of the impact in your joints. It's going to save you some of that soreness as things impact you in here. Just do it early. I'm an idiot and don't fight with it, but I try to put it on and I'm like, eh. So What was that? So I like racquetball grip tape, and I like the hockey grip tape is like my favorite, actually, because it's got it.
There's two. There's the dry, and then there's wet. And the wet has a tiny bit of adhesive as you wrap it, so your hand doesn't slide.
Okay,
so
that's awesome.
For you don't like that because you want to have that.
Yeah,
slide.
I love the slide in my hand.
But anybody else that wants that positive, that's.
Yeah. So that's going to be a thing for everybody to kind of like choose. If my handle stuck in my hand, I would lose my mind. So the same thing goes for your shield, guys. Your handle in your shield should fit your hand. You should not be over gripping it, because the more you have to grip your shield, the more you're activating all the muscle, the more calories you're burning fighting, right? And I'd really like to expend calories hitting somebody than hanging onto a shield. If you're standing there constantly like trying to show off your bicep, probably too big of a handle or too loose of an arm strap. I fight with my center grip, and my center grip just sits on the top of my hand like this until I need to grab it to block. So play with your gear. So that's my lecture on that. And also, I think my sword's getting passed around right now. Oh, cool, yeah. So we've got a couple of them here that I like grabbed them and I just like ripped the handles down on. Does anybody have any questions about this little like run through? Oh, I'm sorry, you had a statement. I'm so sorry, Edward.
You and Matthew have that healthy shoulder on posture spot.
Oh yeah. Do you wanna lead this one, or you like?
It's the same.
Yeah.
So people hear all kinds of things about posture, but if you're having to hold your shield out like this to keep it in a good position,
can you turn sideways so they can see you lead?
If you're in a position here to cover yourself, if your shield is strapped in such a way that you're constantly straining, can you keep your shield relaxed most of the time? When you put it into guard, can you do it with a small amount of tension? Or do you have to crank your shoulder and lift your ear up and tilt your head to get your shield into your standard guard?
Yeah.
Should be able to sit there comfortably, should be strapped in such a way that it can be comfortable. If you have a guard where you tend to have it canted across, then you might want to restrap it so you're not having to use muscle to do that.
Yep.
If you I like my shield starting out vertical, so I can use very little energy. I spent a lot of time, lots of holes in different shields to find that angle where I can rest with it comfortably and easily get into a guard without having to work. And that's the biggest key to you, just what you're saying about how hard is your hand working, how hard is your shoulder, how hard is your neck working to be able to maintain your shield position.
Oh yeah.
Can I also say, once you find a good shield position, you say, I like this guard, this shield is strapped so I can be in that guard without work, practice it.
Oh yeah.
Train it, condition it. Spend time just holding your guard, whatever your guard is, hold that. Do footwork in that guard. Do your pel work with your shield, because you already throwing all your shots like this, that's recovery, which is time, which is lowering your defensiveness and working that shield arm over and over. Can you throw your shots and be there? Can you recover backward easily?
Yep. So I would like to not one true way this, but I'm going to one true way this a little bit. I'm really, really sorry. I adore center bosses for smaller fighters. And the reason for this is a strapped shield. If this is a strapped, or I don't have a strapped shield, a strapped shield, they're going to learn how to push their hand up and into the position because they're going to reach up. It's whole. I don't need to go snowboarding. I'm going to steal this for a second. Sorry. I'm sorry. That was rude. You were being very kind. That shield is just huge.
It's like
I'm pretty sure it's my height. So this is that really upper corner shield. And we actually see this a lot with, amusingly enough, with like the VD cake heights. They're kind of like right here, and you guys have to push that corner way high to get any of those leading blocks. So I like this corner to come up into this eye, so it gets rid of a straight flat snap. But the taller somebody is, the more this arm is going to have to come up. And because this hand is already high, I'm now asking the body to extend it up, even keeping my shoulder in good position. This is a lot of weight to hold high. Actually, amusingly enough, Edward, can you come here real quick? I have to hold this higher and higher. Also, this is starting to compromise the power in my arm because I'm actually starting to break and extend the joints out. So the more I have to extend these joints out, so even if I'm like somebody here, I have to extend this really, really hard to get this block, even if it's close, then I have to like extend it up. So I'm burning it. I'm doing a shoulder press here. And so I prefer starting smaller fighters with a center grip because naturally, whose shield was this? Thank you. Because naturally, this shield can sit up higher with less cost to my arm. You can actually see it right here, guys. This shield is already up higher, and I'm still much closer to my body because all I have to do is push my thumb up, and I'm actually rotating it more than lifting it. As I'm just, what was that? You're at that 90. At that 90. Keep the 90s everywhere. Shoulders back in the pockets, keep the 90s. Strongest fucking shit you can do. Also, one of the things that I actually really like center grips for versus heater shields, and I was a heater fighter for a while. I still have my little sports heater, and I love it, is you can teach somebody to block on the edge faster with a center grip than the body of the shield. The edge of the shield is actually going to drive the force into your hand, so you can block harder for less expense than you can if somebody slaps this, right? Here, because it's strapped to your body, you have to twist it to get to that edge more. And like you have to like reach to get to that edge. Versus it teaches a lot of people to like, collapse it, so they take a lot of the blows into the shield and like get that shove, basically, from the blow coming in. So kind of one true weighing it, but I start all my smaller fighters with this. I'm happy to support anybody that wants to fight with a heater. I really enjoyed fighting with a heater, loved it. But like this is kind of my standard starter shield, especially for smaller fighters. This is actually the size that I start almost all my people at if they're 5'7" or under, because this corner is a lifesaver. You can tell this is where it's all beat up, right? That's that flat snap. And so if this corner is down here, I'm gonna eat it in the face all day long. And so this shield is kind of like that cheater starter that gives a good foundation, and then the one that I'm doing is actually cut down by like a couple inches, because, well, I shouldn't be fighting with a shield this big. Any questions so far? So I want to show you guys the mechanic with the shield and why I actually really like using frame weight transfer versus a twist, and how it actually helps with shield placement. And then we can talk a little bit of blocking. We can talk whatever you guys want to about shield stuff. Does that sound good for everybody? Everybody's head's super full now. Is it almost cider time? Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna steal this pelt. Who's got my stick?
Right there.
Thank you. Everybody hate this handle yet? Oh, by the way, I fight with a trigger because it actually keeps my hand so much looser than fighting with a lanyard, because I can feel it. I got the little neurological response in my hand that it's there. So I'm gonna hit this pelt real quick. So, again, I try to make multiple examples of everything, and you've got the camera right there, so I'm actually gonna face. It will actually probably be better if you're right over here, because you're gonna need to see the inside of the shield. So if everybody can come to this side, real quick, I wanna show you why and what I'm kind of doing with this. I'm sorry to have everybody move around a bunch. You guys have also been super awesome to work with. I wanna thank you so much. So, again, I'm gonna square up to this for a second. We keep the feet square, face the threat, bring in the shield, right? So a twisting mechanic, even leaving this in place. So if I twist, I'm having to extend my arm to keep that in neutral, right? And I'm actually opening this V a lot. This is where a lot of the twisting mechanic on a smaller fighter gets them fucking punked with a flat snap, because I've literally turned my body away. Or if I twist, I'm taking it with me to block with this. I now have this giant line that I've produced, right? Again, the bigger fighter you are, the less this is a threat, because you turn less to generate the same force. So, but with a frame weight transfer, what I can do is I can park this right here, and it goes with me. So that flat snap, I'm not turning out and away from my shield, so I'm not expending the energy to lean that hand forward to get it there, which also stops this, by the way, when you're fighting. And I'm just taking it with me. So I've also interrupted that slot line, because now I'm in the line. of this. And so as I recover, I can just come right back to home with a step versus trying to twist my body. So that twist, it either leaves with you, or you have to extend it, and now I'm gonna get flat snapped real hard. And so that is one of the other advantages to the frame weight transfer, at least how I feel, is that I get to keep my shield at 0 and home for much less energy expenditure. I'm trying to not get out of my own way to throw a shot. Questions real quick? None? Everybody's brain's full? They're like, stop talking? So the other thing too is, quick question, how many of you guys are gonna be back tomorrow? Sweet. We're gonna spend some time on this a little bit too tomorrow. So we're also probably gonna play with a little bit more shield mechanics tomorrow also. So do you guys want to play around with this on the Pell? Do you want like one-on-one work? What would be the best for you in this situation here? So because we've played with the mechanic, and now we're playing with shield placement, and everybody's kind of got a slightly different shield. So we can do some of this, like get on the Pell, throw, and see what the difference is in your shield placement with this mechanic. Would that be beneficial? Oh, actually, that's pretty solid, yeah. Oh, let me introduce you to my favorite tool ever. Haha! Okay, this is where we're gonna play in pairs. So everybody, these are wiffle ball bats. These are like my favorite training tool. Yeah, everybody gets a bat that wants to do this. Don't use it. Don't use your stick. Cool. See them out. So the reason why I like these things is they are cheap, but they still hold up to what we do pretty good. So we replace one about every 6 months. I think I have 20 of these for my practice. But again, we can now go through slow work with much less cost. I love that everybody's getting their shields. So, and what we're going to do too, before we go to pairs, is everybody come up to the Pell, face the threat, and I want you just slow with the mechanic to throw a couple flat snaps and see where what your shield does. Also, by the way, this is going to tell you real fast if you're rotating, because all of a sudden you're going to watch your shield go leaf. What? Why? Stay home. I don't want to get hit. But I want you just nice and slow, run through it. Use the wiffle ball bats to do this. This is not about full-on power. This is much more about that mechanic. Line up, go through it, and then we're going to pair off on this side and actually kind of move through some slow work. Edward, you're totally joining me on this side. Panda, you want to grab one? So the idea is this: what is your shield doing and why? We're not trying to do anything fancy, goldfish the hell out of it, but we're just trying to ask them and be like, cool, why did your shield turn off? Where's your body? What's your feet doing? Ready? So, and just tell them that as they come in. Like, goal is we're playing. So the idea is to see what your shield is doing, and like throw the mechanic and see where it goes, and then we can play with this. Okay? So did you feel all of a sudden your shield? Whoop?
Yep.
So, do you fight with that shield for a specific reason, or is it just the shield you had?
It's just the shield I have.
Want to try this one?
Sure. The handle's a little bit.
Oh, I'm good right now. Thank you, though. So, there you go. Just like that. You don't see a lot fighting with this, do you?
Well, I usually have it tilted down a little bit more, so it's just in the back corner a little bit up to prevent the side.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Nice, you're not twisting off. You're twisting it out a little bit, because I can tell like this tends to travel with you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that one's actually staying pretty nice. So, the thing is, I don't think you need as big a shield as this, but I also understand, like,
yeah.
So,
it was also a hand-me-down from a friend. So.
Yeah. Oh no, it's like I have a big old war shield like this at my house that I love. So we're just gonna rotate through and play around, but then afterwards we're gonna do like one-on-one stuff and everything else like that. So, but just practice leaving that home and relaxing it. Just relax. That thing's big enough that I would just relax that thing and just hang on to that. Okay. See how that pulled back? What happened when that pulled? So you're having to pull it out of your way. Do you see him doing that? How he's pulling it out of his way to throw, instead of it being there and like that hand being able to pass by it. Yeah, there you go. Much better. See, now it moved again. There you go. There you go. Better. Because now I don't have that when you move. Yeah, better. Yeah, there you go. Nice. Yeah. He's having to counterweight that a lot, so I would work on just being able to keep that home, because it's big enough that like that flat snap is covered at his height, and are you getting hit here? Yeah, it's because that counterweight's happening, which is opening that gap.
He's dooring.
Yeah.
When you throw.
Yeah, and so if we work on that, we're gonna work on your kinetic chain later and get you up and in, and so that will get rid of that big sweeping motion that I'm seeing in that shield right now. So just think about this stays home, and then you just...
Where does the rest of it go?
What was that?
Where does the rest of it go?
Rest of what?
The shield. If this corner stays here, where does
right
this bottom part,
about here. Because now that gets rid of this, right? I can't throw that anymore. That line is there. It's interrupted it.
So before it was this?
Yep. So just bring that, because now that's gone. Unless I move, right? Yeah, there you go. And then you can throw. You can throw a flat snap without moving that thing. Yep. Yeah, there you go. Nice.
It's like a lot of the stuff I was taught, one of them was if you're fighting another righty, it's more like this.
Oh, yeah.
And that has been...
Yeah, because that gets this.
Yeah, but with a lefty, it's this.
Oh, see, lefty, just face the threat. So if you're facing, yeah, there you go. Yeah, much better. First, if you close it down, that allows all those wraps to come in. Yeah, nice. Welcome. Relax, okay. So see how the shoulder's rolling forward?
Yeah.
I can tell by how you're holding it. You hold it like this. Put that back in the pocket. So do the big stretch, put it down in your pocket. Now think about, you're going to actually use the joint here and then close that just a little bit.
Okay.
And now you should actually just be able to rest that on that joint almost, versus before you're like holding it out here, and eventually it's gonna get tired. Also, that gets rid of the slot. Yeah. See how it twisted out of the way? Right there. So try again. See if you can get that, stay right there. Yeah, there you go. Nice. Fucking nice.
Thank you.
Good job. Come here, you.
Brett, give me that bat. Okay. I'm super new to this. I don't know what I'm
Sure.
doing.
We're gonna fuck around. So you get some one-on-one time, by the way.
Yay.
I haven't come over and hugged you yet because you showed up and I was like, I'm gonna go tackle that bitch.
Yeah, I know. You too. Thank you for coming out here.
I can't believe how many people are here.
I rolled in. I'm like, where are you fucking all coming from? Jersey? 4-hour drives? 5-hour drives? Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, ah! Oh yeah, here. You and I will get some right after, okay?
Any last words before?
Oh yeah, I'll totally do last words real quick. So hang on one second. Oh, thank you. This has been amazing.
I'm the baroness of the group here, and I'm really pleased with the number of people from all over the place.
I am mind blown how many people are here. I am
how far
just
they came.
So I just want to thank all of you so much for the gift of your time. Like, this has been amazing. Working with all of you has been wonderful. So the big thing that I always try to end on is, if you guys have feedback for me as an instructor, please send it. It could be negative as fuck, by the way. Feedback as an instructor allows me to continue to get better at this. And so send that critical feedback, send positive feedback, it's fine. But like, I'm actually really interested in like, hey, this would work a little bit better if this started sooner, or like I felt like you could have spent some more time on this, or fucking fly a TA out, like something like that. And so I'm just overly grateful. Every time I stand in front of students and get to train and work with people, I always want to be better at this. And it's just, absolutely like makes me want to be in the SCA longer and for more people. And so I just want to say thank you very much for the gift of your time. How much fun we've all had hearing some of the giggles while everybody is like, what the fuck is going on with my elbow? Why do you do this? And so just, it's thank you. I'm stumbling over myself because I'm so overwhelmed. I've lost words. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Yay! So, and as I said earlier, I'm happy to spend some one-on-one time on the Pell. We're gonna get food out here, everything else like that. Please feel free to come over and harass me, ask questions. I know some people were struggling with the kinetic chain and doing that, so we're gonna work with a couple people on that. My eyes are on you. We're gonna play around with some more shield stuff and like just talking about that. It's all open, like just have fun and fuck around at this point in time. So feel free to come grab me. I'm gonna grab a monster here in a second. And then we'll go from there. So thank you guys very, very much. And I look forward to those that I get to see tomorrow, and then the ones that I don't get to see tomorrow, I will see you on the field.